go, Jared. I just sent it to you.
Guten Abend, Herr Wichser. How is everyone? Uh, and yes, that's
Jared,
probably the
Jared,
best way I could say it because how much you want to bet most of y'all out there don't even know what I said. I know one person on the panel does.
I barely caught good evening, but that was about it.
Uh, Cassius, you will have to unmute yourself. But so what was it, Red? What did you send over?
I thought you were gonna play music, but I guess
Oh,
not.
oh no, I have music playing softly in the background because copyright issues.
Oh yeah, we're live now, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Well, that fucks my idea. My idea. Okay, never mind. Fucking
Pl-
buzzkill.
Plus, all the songs that are played tonight are from my personal pirated collection that live on my external hard drive, not streamed over any other source where they can fuck with access.
Excellent.
Oh, should we
So,
get
what is
into
the
that topic first?
the fact that everything's becoming a subscription service?
it, that
Oh,
is just the tip of the fucking iceberg. Like,
The fact that you're not going to be able to own anything,
I,
but you'll like it.
I
you will
think I
love
think
it.
it's pretty simple. Ubisoft said people have to get comfortable with not owning games, and I think Ubisoft has to get comfortable with not selling any games.
They have to get comfortable licking my ass.
Here's the problem: is Blizzard started all this tomfuckery with
Yeah.
World of Warcraft, having to buy the fucking game just to get the code to get the game downloaded to your computer, and then you had to pay a pay-to-play subscription service.
No, to be fair, they weren't the first pay-to-play MMO, but that the first one that was actually popular in the mainstream.
Well, was
Okay.
it
They're the ones that
them?
made it worse.
Okay,
Was
all
it
right, yeah.
was it them, or can we really point the finger at EA and all of their DLC fucking microtransaction bullshit?
Horse Armor, it was Bethesda first. Horse
Mm.
Armor was the first micro DLC.
But now you're having this
Yeah, but
idea
you-
going
but you-
everywhere. Like, yeah, have you heard the story that BMW was going to charge a subscription service for heated seats and heated steering
Yeah.
wheel?
And I think Mercedes is charging for 50 additional horsepower.
Which is bullshit.
Ultra
No,
bullshit.
the Democrat.
That is how you get hacked
have
cars that
a
do
fucking
stupid
nothing
shit.
to do with that.
It's like
just-
if I already paid for the electric motor that can do the thing and the battery that can do the thing, then I should be able to access the things that allow me to do the thing without paying extra for the shit that I literally already paid for. And the same is true for the heated seats, the heated steering wheel. It's like you already put the fucking heating elements in the goddamn seat. Let me use it, or I'm just going to hardwire a pass through to get around your bullshit and connect to my own potentiometer. Fuck you.
There's a reason why I drive a Yukon that is GMC that says fuck all of that. You got your heated seats. You got your fucking here. You got your fucking there. We don't want your extra money. We don't want your monthly subscription. We're just going to give it to you and say, you know what? You bought the car, go with it. It doesn't matter that it only gets 13 miles to the fucking gallon, and even less when you're pulling a load. I know because I drive a Yukon. I drive a Denali. I got a 6.0 liter engine in it. I go from 13 miles a gallon highway, pulling a load, I go to 8 miles a gallon.
We must
So-
we must be we must get used to this idea that whenever companies start doing shit like that, it is an immediate call to action. Start slamming their asses on social media everywhere and basically let them know that this is a terrible idea and that they're terrible people for thinking of it. I even know of a few.
Actually, I have an even better solution for you, Red. Just don't buy a foreign product. Buy an American
The
product.
problem is that
It's willing to
fucking
sell-
gamers have no fucking self-control. They have a loud voice on Twitter, and then they buy the shit anyway and pre-order it in the super special edition that come with a shitty watch or bullshit.
And here's the thing. I totally agree. I have driven only Chevrolets like literally my entire life. And there is a reason for it. Well, GM products at least. But the thing is that it's going to go to GM. Like, did you know that GM is already working on eliminating your ability to have Android Auto or Apple CarPlay so that you are stuck using their shitty infotainment system? So you don't even have the option of using your own mapping software, your own music library on your own phone. They want to be able to control that experience as well. And the reason why is that if they prevent you from connecting your phone and being able to use your maps using your data that you already paid for, then they can charge you again for those exact same services if you want it on your infotainment system.
All right, Rez, you ever heard of an FM converter?
Yeah.
I got an FM converter in my Yukon that takes my FM system and allows me to Bluetooth from my phone to that FM converter and play my shit through my radio. I don't need that.
I'm not saying there aren't ways around it. My thing is that they're already working on putting in those roadblocks in the first place that you would then have to work around, which I have a better idea. How about we just not put those roadblocks in place in the first place so that I can plug my phone directly into my shit and use it the way that I can today? Don't take away features from me simply because you want more money after the purchase.
Please drive to the shoulder and come to a complete stop. Your half-hourly mandated ad break is coming up.
Exactly.
Well, and that's another thing that people have to consider when it comes to the automated driving and self-driving aspect of it. How easy would it be for someone to get in and put in exactly those types of restrictions? Oh, you're about to hit your daily mileage limit. You need to stop now.
Yep.
I will absolutely refuse to drive a vehicle built past 2015 because of this bullshit. I actually have in my sights a 1955 GMC diesel. Now, granted, the engine's been updated a little bit, but it's still EMP resistant. It's not EMP proof, but it is EMP resistant because the glow plug is there. So it could be knocked out. The glow plug could be knocked out to a freaking EMP, but take care of the engine and you don't feed it fucking ether when it's fucking cold. You don't need the glow plug.
The great thing about what we're experiencing is that the cheaper cars are now more reliable than the more expensive cars, when back in the day it used to be the other way around. So you can get yourself a basic bitch, nothing special Toyota Camry, and it will drive and drive and drive. But if you get the upgraded, LED fucking everything, moon roof, massaging seats bullshit, it will break down on you within the first year, guaranteed. And just because you have a warranty, you think you're protected. Oh, that's adorable.
Yeah.
I bought the cheapest, shittiest car I could possibly get my hands on, and Jared knows this because he's written in it multiple times. But that thing has 130,000 miles. I changed the oil in it. I take care of it, and it has never ever left me stranded, ever. And it's the cheapest, shittiest car that Chevrolet made at the time.
Well,
and what was it? What was it?
Correction, it wasn't made by Chevy.
Well, it was made by Chevy, kinda. It has the Chevy motor, but the actual car itself was made in, I want to say, Korea.
What was it?
It's a Spark. It's either Korea or Taiwan.
Is it Daewoo?
Yeah, I think
it's a Daewoo. Yeah, it's a Daewoo.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it has
those are pretty reliable though.
Well, the thing is that the EcoBoost engine is, or not the EcoBoost, the EcoTech engine, not a Ford, The Eco Tech engine is the same engine that I had in the Chevrolet Cruze, but the thing about the Chevrolet Cruze is that it was a full-size sedan, whereas if you were to put it in a really, really tiny hatchback, now it's the same size engine, but now it has to do a lot less work because the damn thing's so light. So it has been
Yeah, big
super
difference.
reliable. It has never left me stranded. It has 130,000 miles on the clock and is still kicking ass to this day. And all I've had to do was change the oil, change the transmission fluid every now and then. Life's good.
Yeah, Tasty, I was going to say, nobody wants to see your dick here. Come on now.
I was in bed and then I realized, oh shit. Okay, I have pants on now. All right.
You know when you're watching Spank Division and the Yankees are playing,
No, I just
you
got
don't
off
need
of
to
duty
be
and
on
I'm
the
super
live with your
tired.
face on.
I just got off duty section and was fed some bullshit. So
So
Yeah,
you,
I was
you,
in
you,
duty.
you gotta you admit it. You've got a stark raving boner that needed to be taken care of. You should have taken care of that shit before you got on camera.
y'all suck. But
No, it's just
No, it's just me.
yeah, man, I have decided my fucking rates community is dog shit, and I'm trying to do everything. No, Ian is fucking dog shit, bro.
Yeah,
It's
I tried
always-
to warn you.
It's always been
I-
fucking dog shit, dude.
So,
We tried to warn you.
Jared, here's my plan now that I'm thinking about leaving EN. So like, I'm either going to fucking send my contract, get the fuck out, and go be like a hot shot or like a smoke jumper somewhere. I don't fucking know. I'm gonna do something with firefighting when I get out. That's all I know. Or I want to go back down the nuke pipeline and make money. Money.
Cross rating into nuke is not a given, but talk
Nope.
to your career counselor. Because
He is good friends with the ECM, and he says there's a pretty good shot about it.
well, yeah, because they always want people in the nuke pipeline because it has such a high washout rate.
Yeah.
But the question is going to be that wonderful color blindness thing that got attached to you.
Okay, so that is not in the instruction for being a nuke anymore. So we're gonna bank off of that because the instruction to be a nuke, I saw it, and it did not specify that you had to not be colorblind, and
Well,
that it was not waiverable.
Well, this is where it gets kind of tricky and funky because guarantee in there it says medical clearance required, and you have to look at the specific medical clearance. That's where it's going to be.
I hope.
Yeah, that's where they get to be really creative with things by having requirements nested in other requirements. And that's where, not saying you won't be able to, but it's
hard. I know.
well,
know.
It's not even that it's hard. It's annoying because of all the hoops that you have to jump through.
Oh yeah, I moved into my house. If you can't tell.
Now, do you have a fridge in the floor? Judging by that
How would
laugh,
you
you
know?
do, and I fucking love it.
All right.
For,
Excuse the mess. I moved in like 2 weeks ago, and I haven't had time to move out all the cardboard and shit from moving in.
but yes, people, you are about to see a hallmark of Japanese homes, like actual legit
It's not a
Japanese.
fridge; it's just a pantry. But
Well, in the floor, in the middle of the kitchen.
yeah, if you can't tell, I moved in like 2 weeks ago. Like, is it still kind of obvious that I just moved in?
Well, have you had another stretch of not having any real time off in those 2 weeks?
I've had like 2 days off, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'll do it next time."
and then fuck it, I'll do it next time. And now here we are.
Yeah,
today.
and now I'm here, and I'm actually going to take care of it after the show.
Hmm.
You want to see another hallmark of Japanese housing? The Ass Squirter 9000.
Yeah, if it's not a classic Asian toilet, it's a bidet. There's no in between.
I also have a giant beanbag in my bedroom, and then I have my office, which is just a pile of computer boxes in the corner, plushies, and then all my figurines. And then smell good stuff, candle somewhere, I don't know.
But the real question is, are you going to think you're going to be there long enough to invest in a kotatsu?
No, I don't have a tatami room.
You don't need a tatami room for a kotatsu. You just need enough
I
open
don't have-
space.
I don't have enough open space with all the furniture I got. And I didn't know it was a thing until after I ordered all my furniture.
Yeah.
Aw. For the non-weebs out there, so the kotatsu is one of my favorite pieces of furniture from Japan because
Awesome thing.
it's a table with a blanket attached to it with
And
a
a heater.
space heater underneath.
Space heater underneath it, yeah. It's awesome.
Oh, and for those who may have been wondering, where have been, what have been up
Sorry.
to, things that have been going on and whatnot. To say that I decided to overload my schedule might be a bit of an understatement. Because working full time in a better job that's not run by a bunch of fucking asshats. Instead, it's run by the Swiss, which is almost as bad.
By who? The Swiss?
Yes, I work for a Swiss company right now.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Yeah, Jerry. I want to know about your Behyman. Do you still have it?
The what?
The Behyman. By that gasp, I'm taking it as you done got fucked hard.
No. Here's one thing I will say about working for an actual legit European country.
Your anal virginity is gone.
No.
Yes.
The only overtime I've worked has been by choice.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that makes you a green spot.
They're very strict about sticking to the letter of your job description and job requirements. They don't really like people going too far outside, even if it is a benefit. That they are fucking anal retentive on. But that just makes the job easier for me.
Oh yeah, I finally got my flying squad hat for anybody who cares.
Nice.
But yeah, the main thing is I don't have to worry about potentially being pressured into doing anything illegal.
Yeah.
Although our customer that I'm supporting tends to do everything backwards. Which actually, I can't wait till Jay comes in because he's going to have fun with some of that information. But other than that,
you're working.
But other than that, I've been hitting the books because I'm a greedy son of a bitch, and going to school is netting me another $4,300 to $4,800 a month. So why not?
Yeah. Why not?
But because of that, there's been more availability for travel. And speaking of travel, looking at the schedules and what may or may not shake out, I might catch a Trans-Pacific cruise and go back to Japan for a little bit of time. Don't know yet, but it's
Hang
on
on.
the table.
If
Tasty,
you want,
you
come
gotta mute
visit
your
me,
shit.
man.
Tasty, you need to be a little better with that mute button.
Okay.
Gotta mute your
Sorry.
shit. It sounds awful.
Did I do?
You're not muting your shit. Mute your
Yeah,
shit.
Oh.
Yeah,
You sound nasty. Fuck.
yeah, it's because he's fucking.
Hey,
rubbing
you're
his
not
phone
even
up
in the
against his
sponsoring, brother. You get that cigarette out of your mouth. You're not even a sponsor. Are you trying to get Jared canceled? Fuck, turn your camera off.
God damn it.
What? You're not allowed to smoke on screen? What?
No, you're not, dude. Damn, you're not.
What?
How fucking
Yeah.
retarded has YouTube gone lately?
It's gotten bad, dude. I smoked a cigarette and got a 3-day ban.
Yeah,
Wait, did you have
they
your-
really.
did you have it set for not suitable for kids?
Yes,
And they still fucking did that?
they still did that for 3 fucking days. I
The
did it back
fuck?
in December. I did it in December. I lit a cigarette on camera and they banned me.
Yeah,
So yeah,
what
if you
I-
smoke, turn your
so-
camera off.
So what I hear you saying is I should consider moving to Rumble because Rumble doesn't give a flying fuck what you do as long as you don't kill or rape someone on screen.
Move to Kick.
Dude, there is a reason why I don't have my camera on because
Well, other than
I do
eating
so
up
many-
your bandwidth.
well, it's okay. All right, my internet sucks in Paris, Arkansas. Yes, it does. Okay, Jared, I'll give you my exact address, and you can see where the nearest node is at the corner of 22 and 300 Kalamazoo. Or no, wait, it's number 1 Kalamazoo and Arkansas 22 in my hometown. Since you've already seen that I live in B fucking E, but yeah, you can cuss all you want, but if you smoke a cigarette, you'll get banned.
yeah.
That's
Yeah, I caught a 3-day for that. I was fishing at the time.
I could see not see you know what? I think I know what they might be using as the get out of fuckery card for that one. Well, we can't tell if it's a regular cigarette
Hang on one
or
second,
an
Jared.
illicit one.
Hey, hang on, Jared. Hey, Steve, mute your fucking mic. Shit.
Yeah, Tasty, you're not going to be able to do anything fucking right tonight.
You know what would also
just-
help Tasty? Headphones.
Yeah,
Put on the
Yes.
headset.
I'm moving to my computer right now. Don't worry. I was just on my phone for a bit.
he had to drop
Yeah,
his
but we can
cigarette.
hear you beating off.
Wait. Tasty, you have to remember, this is Google. This is a platform where you actually have capability to do shit. It's not Twitter.
Yeah.
Which, would you like to go on
And
your
it's
rant
no longer
about
and it's
them?
no longer Twitter, Jared. It's no longer Twitter. It's X.
Yeah.
Let's
It's
get
called
that right.
shitter now.
It's
a
shitter.
Chinese she.
No, it's Elon is catering to everybody, but
Elon is
Making
He's-
Twitter absolutely unusable.
like it was usable to begin with.
Well, it was more usable than it is now.
Yeah.
it's only because how many community
Checkmate,
violations?
atheist.
I mean, let's look at the facts. It's that beforehand, you could actually somewhat kind of maybe use it. Now, it crashes. Like I had to go back 3 versions just to get it to stop crashing on me.
Yeah, I guess this is what happens
That's
for me.
that's funny
being
because
so
I don't use an
infrequent on it.
number one. That's funny because I don't use an Apple product on X, and it doesn't crash for me.
Red
No, I'm
doesn't
talking about
use
Spaces.
Apple products either.
I'm talking about Spaces. To do the normal Twitter things like the posting and the liking and the retweeting, it's fine for that because quite frankly, how can you fuck that up? But
Oh, they're
for
trying.
they're trying, they haven't gotten there yet. You know, give it time. But for the Spaces, oh my god, it's absolutely fucking horrible. Like actually fucking horrible.
Because Elon has no interest in the spaces because he doesn't make any money from them.
Well, he was trying to do the video thing, but the video thing is directly tied into the Spaces thing because the supposed hosts that are only posting on his platform, like fucking Tucker Carlson, because you know it's fucking Tucker
banned.
Carlson. Basically, Tucker Carlson is on Spaces, and it crashes for him as well. I remember when Ron DeSantis was announcing his presidential run on Twitter, and it fucking crashed for him as well. And that was the most hilarious shit out there. Like you could have picked any other platform and you would have been fine. You could have done this shit on fucking Discord and it would have been fine. But instead you chose X, or as we like to call it, shitter, and it fucking crashed on you within the first 5 seconds of your speech. I'm running for president. Yeah, okay. Good
Yeah.
job, motherfucker.
Could we say that the performance of Spaces there was a foreshadowing of DeSantis's campaign?
Yes, we could.
Yeah,
Yes.
pretty much. I'm gonna say like DeSantis, listen, you're gonna have to sit your ass down. Just back Trump and sit your ass down. No one wants you. And I'm from Florida. You know, you unfortunately are my governor, and I'm gonna have to ask you to take a seat.
Crashed harder
You
than
know,
spaceship.
the thing is that he
Hello?
backed the wrong person. He backed
Himself?
he backed Trump after he dropped out. Okay. Tasty, give me a second. I think he should have backed Nikki Haley. I think Haley has a better shot at this than Trump or Vivek Ramaswamy or anybody else.
Then why don't you just vote Democrat at that point?
Because I can't vote for anybody who has socialists in their party.
Then why are you considering Nikki Haley? Look at her track record. She's a Democrat.
But she's not a socialist Democrat. There is a difference.
Are you
I
sure
think
about that one?
for the
Nikki Haley, just to speak on Nikki Haley, she was a great governor of my state. I think she was probably one of our best governors. And I think she would be a good runner for the president election. Why can't I turn on my
here's the
camera?
thing. I
Because
think
disabled it for everyone.
in my opinion, I think Donald Trump is a terrible person for president. And if I had my choice of the two, I would pick Nikki Haley if I had to pick between the two of them. However, let's be real here. Nikki ain't got a chance against Trump. Trump just has way too much support behind him.
Yeah, that's the only problem.
There is no chance in hell that if you put them against each other, that Nikki is going to get more votes. Absolutely fucking not. Trump just has way too much support.
Yeah. I think Nikki would have been better as a third party candidate because that's where her ideologies lie, is in the center of both the liberal and the Republican, the conservative sides of it all.
I think she should just drop out, honestly. Stop spending all this fucking money and just drop out already. We already know who's going to be running. We already know.
All right. Well, here's the thing is that if she and RFK hooked up, joined forces, and they decided, hey, it's going to be RFK 1, RFK Jr. number 1, Nikki Haley number 2, meaning RFK Jr. is going to run for president and Nikki Haley run for vice president. I think enough of the centrists from both parties are going to say, hey, look, we can't go for the socialism that the Democrats are pushing now. And we can't go for this ultra MAGA bullshit. That understand, I voted for Trump twice because 2016, Trump was the right president. Okay. He was the right person at the time. Okay. But after 2020, after January 6th, I can't do it. I can't.
No, I don't want Trump either. But let's be real here. Nikki ain't got a chance. RFK don't have a snowball's chance in hell. That not a fucking chance against Trump. Trump has literally the entirety of the Republican Party wrapped around us. I mean, a lot of the fucking bullshit that was going around where they couldn't elect a speaker worth of shit was because Trump's name was in the midst of all that bullshit. And that is literally how much power he has over the Republican Party. And so to go against Trump as a Republican is literally to commit suicide for your political career. The only way that you're going to be able to save yourself is to beseech the great Trump. Can I please be your vice president? Because I'm telling you, that's the only way your ass is getting into the White House.
And that's what, had Vivek lasted, okay, I probably would have voted Vivek. But the fact that he saw the writing on the wall, he was saying the exact same things Trump was doing, but he didn't have the records that Trump has, which with the records Trump has, okay, granted, no convictions, but there are 90 some odd indictments.
Yeah, but the wheels of justice move really slow, and you have to admit it is a fight for second place now.
Whoever has those 90 some odd indictments needs to fucking move on them, because when you got that from the grand jury, and oh, by the way, I've been indicted of a felony, never convicted, because there were things there.
It really is a fight for second place, in my opinion. There's no point in going up against Trump. Trump has way too much support.
And here's the thing, is Joe Biden, I mean, let's face it, he's proved the FLIRFs right. That it really is buoyancy over gravity. I mean,
it's
I mean,
I would say,
I can show you a video of him literally falling against gravity.
yes, he has fallen upstairs a number of times, but
Thank you.
But aside from that, he's a puppet, and he's not even a good one. Now,
He's an old senile fuck that needs to be in a nursing home. And by the way, Donald Trump is like, what, 3-4 years younger than him? That's not a lot at this point. Both of these jackasses need to just retire.
We have geriatric old white men running for president. Give me something different.
It's like, you need to be, in a nursing home, shitting your pants and having the nurse wipe it for you, because goddamn, you are just too old to be running the country. Get the fuck out. The fact that he's like, oh, I'm gonna run for president again. So you're gonna be fucking 85 by the time you get the fuck out?
Dude.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question. Okay. Are you 20 years younger than I am?
I'm 30.
give or take.
Okay, you're 21 years younger than I am. I'm 51. just turned 51 on the 25th of January.
Boomer.
Fuck you, Tasty. Go eat shit and die.
Somebody had to fucking say it. Somebody
I'm
had
not
to fucking.
you fucking call me what my old man is. Fuck you. Okay, and my dad is a communist. I'll have you know, my dad is
do
a
me a favor,
communist.
Tasty. Shut the fuck up. Anyway, what was your question?
Okay, all right. So here is the thing. Okay, is that there is a reason why nobody in Gen X is in politics. Look at the politicians. How many Gen Xers are there?
Probably not
No.
enough.
How many born between 1963 and 19 what was it 61 and 81? How many politicians were born in that time frame?
Quite a few. Cruz, Hawley.
I don't usually
All
follow
of
Ilhan
them.
Omar.
Okay, all right, Jay Brown, you just proved my point. They're all conservatives.
No, they're not. The Dems have their side too.
Okay, how many conservatives? How many Democrats?
So right now, what I'm pulling up is there's 54 total, 34 in the House, 20 in the Senate, and it is mixed across both parties.
Okay. For the base majority, there is a reason why we don't fill all the Senate and House seats. Is because we were raised on neglect and fuck yous all our lives. Okay.
The idea is that we don't actually get the options that we want because we don't get to choose our candidates. Those are chosen for us, and that system needs to fucking go away. That's why I support doing away with the Electoral College, and I also support ranked choice voting. That would solve a lot of fucking problems right
Okay.
there.
I'm for the election of the Supreme Court. I am not for the getting rid of the Electoral College. Do you know why?
Yeah, because then the Republicans will lose every single time.
Oh,
No,
okay.
they're
Here is the thing:
you
is
get
that
rid
the
of
Electoral College was
You get rid of the Electoral College, and you get all national voting decided by between 5 and 7 major metropolitan areas only.
Yep. And that was something that the founding fathers foresaw, and it's called tyranny of the masses. Okay. If you don't know that phrase, look it up, please. But tyranny of the masses is that a very small fractional group in major areas will get to decide everything on national level, forgetting the fact that, hey, our food comes from very rural, very, very unrepresented areas. That is the reason why we are in a representative republic. We're not in a democracy. We're in a representative republic. As Ben Franklin told the old lady when she asked Ben Franklin what type of government they gave us, he said, a republic if you can keep it.
People are going to be very, very disappointed because there's already a plan to subvert the Electoral College with a cross-state guarantee that the person that gets the majority of the votes is the one that actually gets the electoral votes, essentially making the Electoral College really a formality at that point. And when it comes,
will not be eligible for law in the current situation.
it doesn't need to be. If the states still have the power that they do today to send their electors to the president that they want, then the cross-state guarantee that they're going. I know CGP Grey did an episode of this. It doesn't have enough signatures yet. I think we're like 3 states short. But assuming that we get those 3 extra states, then the Electoral College is going to go bye-bye.
I think
And
you're going
then
to run
watch
into.
the real tyranny happen.
Okay, all right. Now here's the deal. Okay, I think you're going to have a problem because the underrepresented states, West Virginia, Kansas, Arkansas, Missouri, the flyovers, where your food comes from. You know where the breadbasket of America is, right?
Yeah, but at the same time,
All right. Okay.
when it
That's
comes
your-
to the
that-
breadbasket of America, we have to also accept the fact that for the past, I don't know, 40, 50, 60 some odd years that they've been voting against their own interests, and I don't know why that's the case.
Okay, how have they been voting against their own interest? When they've been voting against the Democrats because of Democratic policies. Okay. Do you understand? I got a friend of mine. Wait a second, Jared. Let me make my point. Okay. I got a friend of mine that owns 200 acres in Kansas. He can't get a bank loan without being able to prove that he's on the federal bank or that he's on the federal government subsidy list.
Which
He can't get a loan.
let me just ask you: was it a Democratic president or was it a Republican president that made an executive order, or at least one with a little bit of teeth in it, that mandated that the tractor companies had to give farmers the ability to fix their own shit?
Okay.
I'll give you the answer. It wasn't Trump. In fact,
No.
Trump gave
No,
more
it
power.
wasn't even Trump. It wasn't
industry.
even Trump. It wasn't even a Republican Congress.
But here's the thing.
It was
Here's
a
the thing.
wait a second, Red. It was a Democrat Congress that attached it as writers to other bills that the Republican wanted to get through, including income tax reform. Guess who the fuck that was?
This was a standalone bill. There was no extra attachments to
this
it.
was not. This was prior to your 1990s bill. This was the 1980s bill.
No, I'm not talking about 1980s, 1990s.
this is
I'm talking about
no.
modern day right now. What is actually going to help? I think what would help farmers the most
Okay, all right.
is if they have the ability
okay,
to
Red,
fix
you're
their
trying
own
to change
shit.
the point.
Hang on, dude.
No,
You had a
you're
chance
trying
to make your
change the
decision.
point, and
You
you're
had your
feeding
chance to make your
bullshit.
argument.
You're
Let me
feeding
make
bullshit.
mine. You had your
feeding
chance.
bullshit.
Let
You're
me
feeding-
make
you're
mine.
Feeding bullshit. No, I'm calling you out on your bullshit. This is bullshit. You're trying to change the reality of what was and what is because this is law. Okay, and you don't.
They didn't have these types of lockdowns back in the 1980s. If you want me to educate you on policy and be an asshole in the process, I'm more than happy to tell you. But you can't have policy infecting industry when the industry didn't go to that state of art technology in the fucking first place. Since locking parts didn't become a thing until the later 2000s. You ignorant piece of shit.
What the fuck just happened? Why did it escalate so quickly?
Because here's
Politics.
the thing. Whenever Republicans want to blame and shift and all this fucking nonsense, it's like, oh, socialism this, Democrat that, when in fucking reality, the Republicans have been voting against their own interests. You want more
This
money
is
in your
not-
bank
this
account?
is not-
Vote
this is-
Democrat.
Jerry,
You want to
this
be able
is
to
not
fix
the
your own
bill.
shit? Vote Democrat. You want to know who voted against both of those things that would have helped you more? Oh, it was the Republicans because they don't give a flying fuck about farmers. They give a flying fuck about the people that manufacture the tools that farmers use and then give them the power to fuck you over while you use it.
This fucking soapbox for 30 fucking seconds and listen and watch. Jared,
I brought
see
this.
what you
I
got
brought this
is
up because this is the one Reds is talking about.
that is what Reds is talking about.
Agricultural
What I'm
Rights
talking
Repair
about is
Act.
something
Can you
completely
read the
different.
date on that, please? Can you read the
Reds.
date on that?
Introduced.
Introduced 02, 01,
2022.
2022. Democrats.
Jared, Farm Aid, 1985. Thank you.
They didn't have locked parts back in 1985.
No, this is not what
and
I'm
that's
talking
the
about.
thing I'm
Reds.
talking
Reds,
about.
shut up and learn. Shut the fuck up and learn. Okay? Thank you.
Educate me. I would love to hear this.
In the 1980s, the Democratic Congress decided to sign in a farm assistance. Reagan had no choice but to sign it. Okay? This is where the farmers voted against their best interest, because the farmers of the majority of 1980 were Democrats. Now, the Farmers Assistance Act cut 1/3 of production by American farmers so we could import more from third world countries to give them a hand. Okay? Putting you, me, and everybody else who shops at a freaking supermarket, a Walmart, a Kroger's, a Bilo, and all these other companies, Safeway. And if you ever cared to look at where your fruits and vegetables come from, what do they say, Reds? They don't say Kansas. They don't say Arkansas. They don't say Nebraska. What do they say, Reds? What do they say?
You tell me. You're educating me, remember?
Chile, Argentina. Why? Why does my friend have to prove that he's part of that act to get a lease or a lend out of the bank? Because he has to prove that he has 1/3 of his property wild, ungrown, unseeded, on everything. Okay, it has to be to a natural state. And then he has to be receiving that federal subsidy to even qualify for a loan on his property. I know, I grew up in East Texas. I know a lot of farming families that have been there for over 100 years. My family included. My father, the Democrat, gladly let his entire property grow over. Quit the cattle business entirely because it was more profitable to take that federal subsidy than it was to actually do anything with this property. And yes, I will refer you to Willard George, the thesis on black eyed peas in Henderson County, written in the 1930s, but he was a professor at Henderson County Junior College, now known as Trinity Valley Community College, but I knew the man.
Is anyone else like aware that none of this had anything to do with what I said? Or is that just me?
But you
I
tried to
don't
sidetrack
even know
it
what the
from
fuck
what I was
just
trying to
happened.
say. Okay?
No, Red's made a point about what's actually been going on
That
in
it was
recent
he
history.
interrupted me while I was making my point to point it to that direction, and that was not the direction I was going. And
No, you asked me a question and I answered the question. The question was, how have farmers in mostly conservative areas been voting been voting against their own interests? And I gave you a concrete example of how they've been voting against their own interests. Then you
Okay,
took it
all right.
left field.
No. Okay. Because you didn't want me to finish my point.
No,
Hey,
you asked me a
thank you.
question.
No,
I was the
no.
one that was to answer it. If you didn't, if the question was rhetorical, then you should have said that.
Okay. But again, so if they have to take the subsidy, how is voting anything else other than a Republican voting against their interests? Okay, you showed that bill. Yes, Jerry showed that bill. Okay.
I'm assuming this pause means that you're done. So
I'm thinking a way to word it. Give me a chance. Okay. I'm sorry, I can't come up with shit on the fly. Right? How is something that appears that yes, you don't know the majority of the farmers that are out there. How many of them are running any equipment past 1986? How many of them are running equipment past or built after 1986?
I'm
pretty sure the most-
Otherwise, John Deere would not be in business.
Yes, John Deere has
John Deere-
been selling tractors continuously. Otherwise, what Jared said, they would not be in business. So clearly, people are buying new equipment. The issue comes up with this: how does a farmer make their money? They make their money by growing the inventory that they wish to sell. In order to grow that inventory, in order to nurture the inventory, in order to make sure that they have something to sell, they have to put in work on that land. Till the field. I'm not a fucking farmer, but I imagine there's a lot of work, a lot of prep work that goes into that land. Now, that land requires tractors to do their job. Now, if you have a tractor that needs a very basic part, like let's say a wheel speed sensor. We have wheel speed sensor on our cars because that's how ABS works. Well,
tractors. Okay, well, wait a second. How many tractors come with ABS, and how many tractors require a spill?
Dude, their wheel speed sensors are not for ABS, dude.
The answer for the wheel speed sensor is 0, because no tractor requires.
Conservative.
No.
I listened to you speak nonstop this entire time. I'm going to ask you to be educated for once.
Okay.
The wheel speed sensor is not for ABS on a tractor.
And giving false information and giving false narrative, I'm going to call you out on it, sir.
You can't say it's false. You didn't even know that the fucking bill existed. So maybe you don't know as much as you think you do. Learn something. Okay? I understand I'm younger than you, but at this point, I think I know more than you. So let's see where this goes. Just try it out. See what happens. You won't know until you get there.
All right,
you might like my taco salad.
Okay,
you've never tried it. So how do you know you hate
it? I give you one option, sir. Continue with the wheel speed sensor, which does not exist on any tractor ever.
Wheel speed sensors does not. Okay, you all heard them, right? If I can find a tractor with a wheel speed sensor, how much are you willing to pay me right now? I'll put $1,000 on that shit right now. Right the fuck now, $1,000. You win?
Dude,
didn't think so.
You can buy them officially from John Deere for $87.
Okay.
Oh God!
But is it a required part? But is it a required part? No, it's not.
That was the sound of a fucking own.
Is it a required part?
You wished. Here's a wonderful thing. If you let Red continue with his point, you would have your answer already.
Exactly.
All right, go ahead.
It's a good thing you didn't take that bet. Otherwise, I'd be $1,000 richer right now. Anyway, so the wheel speed sensor, which does exist on modern tractors, let's imagine for whatever reason that breaks. Well, that wheel speed sensor somehow impedes the functionality of that tractor, which means you can't do your work on your field. Well, usually what you used to be able to do is you used to be able to go out, buy a new wheel speed sensor, bolt it in, plug it in, and you're good to go. Life is good. But now what happened is that John Deere made it so that it is VIN locked to that particular tractor. There is a certain software that's needed to allow that wheel speed sensor to operate in the way that it was designed. You can literally have two identical tractors, brand new, right off the showroom floor. Take the wheel speed sensor out of each, swap them and the thing won't work, even though they're both brand new units. Now, the way that you get around that is that you have to take it all the way back to John Deere. You have to literally load your $150,000, $200,000, sometimes $300,000 tractor onto a truck, transport it all the way back to the dealership so that the dealership can give the tractor permission to work properly. Now, the reason why they're doing that is because of money. John Deere makes a fucking killing, not on sales, but on repairs. And they put this underneath the guise of safety. Oh, we're just trying to make things safe for farmers, even though farmers have been fixing their own shit for the last 50 fucking years and haven't had a problem. The only reason it became a problem is because John Deere made it happen that way. And they're doing that so they can fleece the farmers for more money. And keep in mind, at the time that they're fleecing the farmers for this money, their tractor is down, out of commission, which means they can't do their work, which means they don't have a good inventory to sell to people, so they end up making less money. The thing that allowed them to start the ball rolling on making that bullshit not a thing anymore, that if you're going to make this shit software lock, you have to make that software freely available to people, was a Democrat. A Democrat was fighting for the farmers and pushing through this right to repair type legislation, which made it so that manufacturers couldn't hide that shit behind a paywall, or worse off, hide that shit at the dealership explicitly. Like, we're going to make you this software, but we're the only ones that's going to have access to it. Or we're going to hire you to build us this software, but you can only sell it to us. That's bullshit. And so did this Democrat. And when you have people like Louis Rossman on YouTube partnering with this other Democrat to make this legislation a thing, then that is obviously good for the farmers, because that means they can put parts on their $100,000 tractor, do the work they have to do, which increases the amount that they're able to produce, which means more money into their bank account, which means I don't have to buy my food from Argentina, since we can actually supply our own shit. It was the Democrats that were helping out on that. Now, who was the one that didn't actually support that? Who was actually the people in their state house that voted against the bill because it would hurt John Deere? It was the Republicans, sir. The Republicans voted against it because they thought it would hurt John Deere's bottom line. And John Deere has a lot of lobbying power. They wanted to keep farmers, they want to keep the balls of the farmers within their vice grip, and made it so that they would be forced to use their services, fucking them over in the process. It was the Republicans doing that. But for some reason, Republicans have this aura around them. Oh, we're so for the farmers. We're so for, small business, family-owned properties, when in reality, they're bending them over a barrel.
Okay. All right. Let me ask you a question. You know what a J6 is?
I didn't hear that.
You know what a J6? Do you know what a J6 is?
Are we talking January 6th, or are we talking like a part on a tractor?
We're talking about a J6. Do you know what it is? Yes or no?
Depends on the context.
Do you know what production years the J6 was made?
Oh, you're talking about a tractor part. No, I don't know what a J6 is.
A J6 is actually a tractor. Okay. All right. Let me ask you this. Do you know what a Massey Ferguson 135 is?
No, I don't.
Okay. All right. So, majority of farmers I know don't own anything newer than 2000. Okay.
So
Why?
You're going with the argument.
Why?
From
No, because
anecdote.
this is the majority. This is the majority of small farmers who Red claims are going against their own best interests. These are small farmers. These are not the industrial farmers. What Red is pointing to is to the industrial farmers, which the Democrats support and endorse and hope take over everything else.
So I
Okay.
can counter this directly by saying that all of the neighbors of my ex-wife in Iowa all own John Deeres that are no older than 2010.
So basically, in order to be okay with voting Republican, you just have to not update any of your shit.
Yeah, you know what? Hey, if it works, don't replace it. Don't fix
Or I
it.
have a better idea. Let's not make the new shit by supporting the politicians that are actively working to not make the new shit.
You know what? You just named every farmer I know. Okay. I've got friends, I've got neighbors in my area that don't own anything older than 1960.
Well, good for them,
Okay.
but that's not every single farmer.
I live in Arkansas now. I lived in East Texas. I lived in Henderson County, Texas, which is predominantly rural. Okay. The majority of the farmers there are Republican. The majority of the farmers there don't own anything newer than 2000. Okay. They own Massey Ferguson's that date back to the 1940s. They own John Deere's that date back to the 1930s. When I lived in Missouri, same thing. They own John Deere's. They own the newest farmer in the neighborhood was a city slicker that moved into the area, thought he knew everything about farming, bought brand new farming equipment from Kubota at 2018 prices. Okay. With 2018 equipment. What I'm saying, Reds, is that there are farmers out there that will keep their shit running, held together with duct tape and spit.
Good for them, but
Then
not
to-
every farmer is
then
going
have
to
go
operate
after-
on duct tape and
Then to have to go after these bank loans and this bullshit that they got to go through where they can't grow a third of their property. They would rather lose out on the bank loans and keep their shit together with barbed wire, baling wire, duct tape and spit.
Yeah, but that
Okay?
seems
And
like
I
a lot
speak
of
to old
that seems
school-
like a lot of hassle just so that they can quote unquote own the libs. I'm sorry, that's not a valid argument.
It's not even owning the libs. It's the fact of the matter is that they make more by farming their land for that third that the libs made them plow under to qualify for the bank loan.
You know how
Okay.
want to know what would also increase their revenue? Being able to farm in the first place by not having their shit broken down. And also keep this in mind that even though
Their
the
shit's
old stuff
not
can
broken
still be
down.
working,
Their shit's not
the new
broken
stuff
down.
can probably do it a lot
I
faster
can
and a
go-
lot more efficiently.
I can go to Tractor Supply right now and buy an alternator. I can buy bearings for a 26 John Deere J6.
Good for you. Again,
Shit's not-
not
my
every
shit's
not
not gonna
every
be broken
farmer.
down more than 2 hours.
So basically your argument is, yeah, the Republicans are fucking up the new shit, but let's continue to vote for them to own the libs, and we'll just be stuck with our 1980s whatever the fuck, because it doesn't have a
no.
wheel speed sensor.
Because the libs did nothing for the farmers in the 1980s.
Oh, and the Republicans
I'm
are doing
sorry.
so well being in the
Why?
pockets of the big businesses that actively fuck them.
No, because
That's
the
exactly what
farmers-
was happening with John Deere.
No.
That's exactly
know
what was
why?
happening with John Deere.
Do you understand? Do you know anything about Farm Aid?
I know enough about
Anything about
farming to
farming.
understand that tractors have wheel speed sensors.
Do you
apparently you
know?
didn't.
No, that's not the question, Reds. Do you know anything about Farm Aid?
Yes, I do. I know that in order to
What
make
do you
money during farming, you need to be able to farm. And the more efficiently that you're able to farm, the greater your output's going to be.
Wrong.
Was this the plan
Farm
for
Aid.
this episode, by the way?
No,
I'm asking
I
you
don't
about
fucking know at this
specific
point.
event.
I'm just absolutely shocked that Jared can pull up the bill that I was referring to. Trini Rana,
We're
I'm
so far past
mispronouncing your
that,
name. I'm
it's fine.
totally sorry. Can pull up the wheel speed sensor that I was talking about, but yet this guy's telling me that I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, and I'm like, dude, it's all right there. I've actually looked this shit up. It's public information, and I know that the thing that's going to help farmers the most is giving them the fewest amount of roadblocks as possible. Now, I will say this because people accuse me of being a Democrat, and I'm not. Yes, we need to get rid of all the barriers to farmers. We need to make sure that they have as much freedom as possible to do the shit they need to do with their own land. But if you look at what has been happening as of late, as we have Democrats putting through bills that give farmers the freedoms that they're looking for, while Republicans aren't doing a goddamn thing. And the one time they should be on the side of the farmers, they're in the pocket of John Deere of all people. John Deere, the people who make millions and billions of fucking dollars fleecing these motherfuckers, and it's like, oh, because we don't want to give them the software to allow them to use their wheel speed sensor.
Wait, Reds. Okay. Do you know what Farm Aid is? I'm going to ask this question specifically until you answer it. Do you know what Farm Aid is?
No, what is it?
It is a charity concert held every year. Okay? It's had acts from Willie Nelson. It's a charity concert. Okay? Because during the 1980s,
we're back to the 1980s. Okay.
Democrats were foreclosing on farms left, right, and center. Okay? Because there were farmers who couldn't afford their bills from the banks. Guess who was sponsoring the banks in the 1980s? Oh, wait, the Democrats.
And Republicans.
And the Republicans, but the Republicans weren't in the Midwest banking systems.
They're not blameless in this. And I have
you know what? I'm not gonna say that, but for the majority, especially after the S&L debacle, the savings and loan debacle, which probably Brad doesn't know anything about. The majority of the S&Ls, the majority of the banks that the farmers used, because they trusted them, because they survived the debacle that was the 1920s, the 1930s, the Great Depression, and all of that. Farmers like my great-grandfather, okay, farmers like my grandfather, they survived the Great Depression, okay? They survived majoritarily intact, okay? They switched because they were promised a better way of life. So they switched from Republican to Democrat. And a lot of them followed the FDR plan. Okay. But in the 1960s, farming was looked down on. Started getting looked down on by both parties. Okay. It was dragging the Democrats down because it was majority white ownership. Okay. 1970s, majority white ownership. 1980s, majority white ownership. Okay. 1990s, majority white ownership. 2000s, majority white ownership. Okay. Democrats have done nothing for the farmers who are out there that don't give two fucks about politics, that were given the option, hey, you'll get bank loans if you agree to take the Democrats' plan out of the 1990s that, hey, you gotta plow under a 30-year property unless you grow tobacco, and in which case you gotta get rid of 50% of it. There's a Dixie Chick song about that, by the way. Used to be filled with burley tobacco, and now he knows it never will. Okay? Long time gone. Listen to it. And that was done under Clinton. Okay?
And guess who
there is a reason why there's been a serious demographic shift from the 1930s and 40s to today, with the Republican Party gaining more farmers and more accessible areas of, what do you call it, rural land? Yeah, that's it, rural land. Okay? It's not because the majority of them are white owners. that the majority of them know that with the bullshit laws that are coming with the Democrat Party, they won't make it. Okay. There is a small fraction of Democrat farmers who own less than 100 acres of land that believe they're going to be safe from any foreclosure because the Democrats are supposed to come in and protect them. They won't come in and protect them. Okay. Regardless of whether they're running the latest and greatest ecologically friendly tractor or not. Okay. Which is the reason why a lot of the farmers that I know in these different areas, Missouri, Arkansas, Texas, run the most inefficient tractors and trucks out there. I don't know one farmer. Well, I'll take it back. I know two farmers that are running 2016 Gators. And Reg, you're from the South. You know what a Gator is. Come on. Okay. That's the newest vehicle they own. They intentionally go out and buy diesels that are pre 1960. They go out and they buy, if they don't need a front end loader for more than a day or two, they go out and lease it. Because it's more cost effective to lease it than it is to buy it and own it. Okay.
Yeah,
And
but I'm struggling to understand where this point is going, and you've been going on for like 10 minutes already.
Yeah, so getting into the history of things, I just let's see where things actually lie. So from 1960 to 2000, Wish, do you think Arkansas voted for Republican for president or Democrat for president more often?
they voted Democrat more often. I know
Sure.
exactly where he's going with this.
Sure about
I know
that.
the history. I know the history of my local area. I live
Sure
in
about
Logan.
that.
Look up Logan County. It voted Democrat until 2016.
So from the 1960 election through the 96 election, actually I think I may have even included 2000 in my count, it split evenly, with 1 year, the year that would push it to one or the other, they voted third party. 68 they did not declare for a Republican or Democrat. All the others, they split since 1960 to 2000. The time period that you were harping on, they went back and forth.
Send me the link.
It's 70towin.com historical.
Send me the link through Discord, please. Okay. If you have that data, then send me the link.
I mean, it's good to reminisce about the past, but what I'm talking about here is what's happening now. And I don't know if anyone else agrees, but what's happening now is the more important thing to be discussing, rather than bitching and moaning about the past. Yeah, a lot of fucked up shit happened in the past, but I'm not talking about the past. I'm talking about current modern day.
You know that the closer we get to this, whatever it is, Greta Thunberg is on about. Okay.
Did I bring up the bitch?
No. Okay.
I don't care about. I don't even care about whether or not these tractors are fucking fuel efficient. I just want them to fucking work the way that
All I
they've
have
been
been
working.
hearing is that
the
the
majority of the families-
2020 bill hasn't been benefiting the farmers because all the farmers have been avoiding modern tractors before that bill was introduced because they have been so shitty, which doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, the modern tractors are shit to begin with.
Well,
here's
the thing about the modern shit that I wanted to talk about. The reason why I'm bringing up the modern shit is because, like it or not, I understand that there's this notion, this romantic notion of old school farmers using old school shit and old school methods. But here's the thing: that is a breed that will eventually die. Eventually, the old shit will have to be replaced. It's just a fact of life. Either the frame's going to get rusted all the way through, or whatever, or they're just going to build their own fucking tractor from scratch. But I doubt they're willing to do that or deal with the downtime. So they will have to eventually upgrade their shit, and when they do, they realize certain things. And looking at the multiple interviews that I've watched on this very issue, which was regarding this particular bill, farmers love the new shit because it's a lot more advanced, it's more efficient, they can get more done on less with less downtime, which increases the amount. Yeah, and basically there's this term in business called ROI, return on investment. What they were able to do with their ROI with the modern stuff is get that return back sooner than what they were to do if you were to bought the old shit brand new back in the day. So the ROI had a certain time frame. That time frame is now shorter with the increased amount of productivity that they're able to expect from that one piece of equipment. They're able to do more with less. Now, the reason why
All right, Brad.
it was Jesus
So-
fucking Christ, dude.
so
Can
my question-
you can
my
ramble
question to you
for
now
15,
is-
20 minutes, but you can't let me get a word out. Like,
So my
seriously,
question
bro.
to you is that if the ROI is so high, then why worry about one little component that may or may not go
Because
out?
that one
Since
little
the
component is going to
ROI
fuck
is
up
so
the
high,
ROI.
then the ROI, then either you're saying fuck all to the farmer, or you're saying fuck all to the ROI. Wait a second. If the newer
Or
equipment
he's
is so
saying,
great,
fuck
if
John
if
Deere for being
if
bastards.
the newer equipment is so great, if the newer equipment is not prone to break down, then why are you so fucking worried about a wheel speed sensor that's probably never going to go out to begin with? Wait,
Dude,
hypocrisy right
You
there,
have
idiot.
you have to understand something here, which I don't think you do. For shit to get better, sometimes that shit needs to get more complicated, which means you do have more parts, and those parts will eventually fail. The problem is not whether or not parts go bad, because all parts eventually go bad. That's a fact of life. It doesn't matter if you have the whole honkin' tonkin' Tonka truck shit from the 1950s, it will eventually go bad. All parts
Does it
will
go bad?
eventually
Does it go bad as soon as I buy the
problem is
tractor, or
not
does
whether
it
or
go
not
bad?
parts go bad. The problem is the availability of those parts. And if it's not the availability of those parts, it's those parts not being locked out in the first place. When we actually support farmers with their new equipment, they're perfectly happy to replace a wheel speed sensor and get on with their fucking life. Well, it's what was the price you found? $80?
$87. Yeah, some
Yeah,
are a little bit cheaper, some are more expensive. Depends on the
$87.
model number.
And so that is a relatively easy fix. But if that wheel speed sensor controls the speed of your combine or whatever the fuck's being pulled on the back of the damn thing, then you will not be able to do your work, which means your ROI is going to get more fucked. And here's the thing. That ROI was getting fucked on John Deere's watch, not the farmers. The farmers
From what I understood, the problem isn't necessarily the $90 for the sensor, but that you have to have an official John Deere technician come out, or you have to bring it to them, and then they charge an additional $200, and it takes 3 weeks to fix or something like that.
Exactly.
And that is the problem. The problem isn't the $90 for the sensor. The problem is the John Deere control system that takes a lot of time, and you can't do your own repairs.
Now,
Okay,
farmers
let me
were
interject.
complaining about this for a while.
Point here. Let me interject.
Hang on. No, I'm not done yet. Farmers were complaining about this for a while. Now, when farmers wanted to buy the wheel speed sensor and install it themselves, they knew how to do it. It's one bolt and one plug. It's not exactly a
Yeah, it's
hard
basically
job
like
to do.
installing a USB. It's just one plug.
It's just one plug. Exactly. You're absolutely right. But what they were doing is that they were charging a lot more than the part was actually worth for the labor that they themselves made it that it had to be their labor. They literally designed the system to fuck farmers, which would fuck with your ROI. But if they didn't have that system in place, your ROI would actually be better than the old shit.
Now, can I make a statement?
So,
Can I say
that when
something?
you
Brett?
have that type of system in place, and then you have Republicans supporting that system by not fighting actively against it, then yes, farmers were voting against their own interests. I thought
Okay.
they wanted to make money.
Wait, no. Hang on a second. Hey. How
What was
many
the price of that
EPA
part again?
regulations are over that ROI?
Say again.
How many EPA regulations are over that ROI? How many
Did I bring up
EPA
EPA?
regulations are over that wheel speed sensor? Okay.
Dude, this has nothing to do with the EPA. I didn't bring up the
No.
EPA.
It has everything to do with it because the EPA requires a technician to calibrate. Said
No,
system.
no, they don't. That's actually
Yep.
wrong.
Nope.
So, Red, I think a better example to pivot it to where he has a better chance of understanding it. Give him the story of what you had to deal with your car and the power steering.
Oh, that was
He-
fun.
He'd have a better chance of telling me about his and the three little eggs.
Well, the reason why
Whoa,
this is
hang on, pause for a second. You wished. Are you
You're
saying
too
right now
blind
that
to
you?
drive
Shut
Have a
up
good
for a
night.
second.
Gentlemen, I'm done.
Oh, he has no interest in
That's-
listening. That's
that's,
what I was
that's
about
the
to ask.
problem.
Yeah.
That's the fucking problem. Is that the reason why I went down this fucking line of conversation was trying to educate you as to what was actually currently fucking up farmers. And instead of listening to me, you brought up Greta, whatever the fuck her face is, the EPA mandating something that they never fucking mandated, because Louis Rossman on YouTube pulled up a letter where the EPA told people, stop saying that we're mandating this shit. We have nothing to do with it.
It's just cheap excuse.
It's a cheap fucking excuse. And all of this so they can feel comfortable voting against their own interests to own the libs, because we have to end the wokeness. Oh, going against John Deere? That's woke as fuck. I would rather make less money if it means owning the libs. Oh, that was fun, Jared. Thank you very much for
Yeah.
the conversation. I appreciate it.
Well, in this, I really do think part
What-
of overall what's going on is a generational issue where there are some people out there just by age alone refuse to listen to anyone else.
And I want to make it clear that this is, I'm not talking about Democrat or Republican or anything like that. Yes, a Democratic person was the one fighting this fight, but it could have easily have been done by a Republican, and I would have supported it the exact same. The thing is that
Yeah.
and this is why I am against the Electoral College, because I am against Democrat and Republican as a group. We shouldn't have Democrats. We shouldn't have Republicans. Everyone should be an independent, and everyone should be forced to campaign on their own merits. What policies do you actually support that's actually going to do this country good? Because here's the thing, I would love a mandated, 4-day work week or whatever, but at the same time, I would also support securing the border. I'm for the Second Amendment. I'm for the First Amendment. But at the same time, I'm also for not making my oceans 80% antifreeze. I'm a mixed type of person. So all of this came back to why I support getting rid of the Electoral College, is because the Electoral College literally limits people's choices. If we got rid of these fucking blinders of Republican and Democrat, the whole fucking notion of vote blue no matter who, that's the type of bullshit we need to get rid of. Because that type of mentality literally poisons politics and makes people divided, and essentially we need to vote on people's own fucking merits, not based on party lines. So if you had an independent that loved some policies that were Republican in nature and some policies that were Democratic in nature, that person would get absolutely fucked at the polls. They wouldn't have a snowball's chance in hell because they're not towing the fucking line. You want to know what the solution is? Get rid of the fucking line.
So, Red, I agree with you in that a third-party candidate like that doesn't stand a chance in the current setup, but it doesn't have to. But it doesn't have to do with the Electoral College. That has to do with the voters and whether or not they believe and accept that a third-party option even stands a chance.
But there's also another aspect to it, is that when you look at the Electoral College, there's actually a way, and the reason why I know is because CGP Grey actually made a video about it, is that you can have a president be elected to the White House and only get, I might get this percentage wrong here, but it's around 20% of the vote of the American people. Any system,
in theory, yes, yeah.
In theory, now this will almost never happen. But if you have a system in place that at least makes that a possibility,
it shouldn't even be possible. Yeah,
it shouldn't even be possible. Exactly. So essentially, you're pissing everyone off, and no one's happy, and then we have a dog shit president that literally nobody wanted. It's a flawed system. So not only do I support getting rid of the Electoral College, but I also support getting rid of the party lines altogether and voting for the person that's going to, have their own merits. And if they wish to appeal to farmers, then they're going to have to put forth policies that help farmers.
So, Reds, do you want to keep state politics and state control as a thing?
Wait, repeat the question.
Like states' rights. States' rights.
Well, not
wait, are we
just,
talking pre-Civil War type states' rights?
No, just the current framework. We have the federal level, the state level, and then the municipality levels. Would you want to get rid of the state level in between?
The state level in between? No, I wouldn't go that far with it.
Because that's where the Electoral College comes in.
Correct, yes.
The Electoral College comes in for only the presidential election. That is the only one that has a factor in. And the reason for that is to prevent mob rule, to prevent where at current population levels, you have 6 major metropolitan areas that would determine the president for the entire country. So you want to talk about not having a voice? Unless you live in Chicago, New York, LA, Houston, Atlanta, and Miami.
San Francisco, Miami, yeah.
Yeah, unless you live in one of those 6 or 7 cities, your vote wouldn't fucking matter, no matter what. That's why the Electoral College is there, to make it a state decision. So, and that's another thing. People need to stop looking at the fucking popular vote for the president, because you are not voting as a nation. You are voting within your state for the decision your state is making. And in order to become the president, you need to win enough states to then get into office. So the framework is not the problem. It's entirely people's fucked up decision making that's the problem.
Though the fact that flyover states exist probably means that the Electoral College could also be updated a little bit.
I mean, if you want to talk about like an update to the Electoral College, I'm not sure how it would be updated.
Here's how you can solve that problem, Reds. The flyover state issue. Everybody needs to adopt the Nebraska and Maine models of dispersing their Electoral College votes. Fuck this, winner take all bullshit that they're trying to get with this National Popular Vote Compact, Interstate Compact, and what we currently do in most states anyways. You need to break up your electoral votes by the congressional districts and then the 2 Senate votes that each state gets.
I'd go for that, because then you're getting a true representation, and it makes the fact of being a broad nationally appealing choice as president to actually matter, because
And-
every other politician at the federal level is already broken down to that level, and that's who's voting for him. That's the constituency,
And-
is that limited area.
And at that point, the popular vote plays for the president plays more of an impact than it does now. So, but the problem is you got everybody wrapped up on just abolishing or doing this international popular vote, interstate compact, to not realize what the easiest and most simple solution the states need to solve themselves.
Well, I do agree that the states would need to solve it themselves. The idea here is that we currently have a system in place where theoretically it is possible that with only 20% of the vote, a person could become president, and
Yep,
no one would like
I'll still take that over a prime minister that isn't even elected by the people.
that. That is true. That is absolutely true. I would not have that. The problem is that this is an objectively flawed system, and
All
it's
political
also,
systems are objectively flawed.
well, yes, but some more so than others. And I think this one is absolutely fucking horrible. And the reason why I say it's absolutely fucking horrible is because you have that possibility as a possibility. It shouldn't even be a possibility. I would say a system that doesn't have the possibility where 20% can fuck over the other 80, a system that doesn't have that problem would be objectively better.
Hey Terry, how many political groups are in Germany right now?
Too many.
Is it a stupid answer if I say too many and not enough?
It depends.
Because there are at the moment 6 parties who have realistic chances to get at least a couple of seats in our parliament, but at the moment there's not one that I can comfortably vote for.
I would also say for the whole MOP thing is that if you were to look at the inner cities and compare it to the people that live in bumfuck Egypt and are literally in the ass end of nowhere, at the end of the day, if you get rid of the whole political leaning part of it, I'm pretty sure we all want the exact same things for the most part. We want more money in our pocket. We want to make sure that we're able to make a sustainable living, and policies can make those goals more obtainable. And I think,
God, I wish I still had the view of humanity that you do.
yeah, well, some I would say people that are fucking rational, whereas others, just want to perpetuate flat Earth bullshit stories. But I'm talking about the people that don't have their head up their ass.
On
So
the one hand, I would totally agree that probably 90% of people who live in New York and Miami and San Francisco and Los Angeles would actually vote for a president who campaigned on, I will force all the farmers to do all the bullshit environmental thing, and they will not be able to actually produce any food, and we'll all starve to death because people are stupid. On the other hand, I'm 99% sure that any president might campaign on that basis, but then do what Amazon and John Deere wants anyway and not care about the voters.
That's where holding them accountable is going to become very, very important. See, the thing that a lot of people don't understand is that a lot of the campaigns that have been done over the last few presidencies have been absolute bullshit. Every single one of them has lied on pretty much everything, and that's a very bad thing. And I think the reason why they're making these lies is because they're towing the party line. Whereas if you were to get rid of that system altogether, the farmers and the fucking people living in densely populated areas, they would want roughly the same things. So if you give people what they want, surprise, surprise, they'll actually vote for you. What an interesting concept. Don't fuck over the people and they won't fuck you over.
Well, knowing the wide swath of people that I do, there is one thing that there is a huge divide on that would still be a sticking point even between, and that is how much government involvement should there be in what you consider your day-to-day life, and that is actually the largest recently unspoken divide between your urban and rural voters. And that is something that just by where they live alone distorts how you look at things, because the majority of your urban voters don't see government intervention and government controls and an increase of government intervention as a bad thing. Whereas if you're living on 10 to 100 acres out in the middle of the country somewhere, the less people fuck with you, the better.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I get that. I think there's not really a disagreement there. I think it's more of a disagreement about allocation. It's like, listen, if you are going to take my tax dollars, I better be getting something for that money. In the middle of bumfuck Egypt, there's not a lot of infrastructure that needs tending to. So naturally, not a lot of shit's going to be done there. And I support not a lot of shit getting done there because not a lot of shit is needed. Whereas in the inner cities, since there's a lot more traffic, a lot more human activity, shit's going to break down a lot more often. And so naturally, you're going to have more of the resources being allocated to the upkeep of that particular area of the country, or those areas of the country. So the argument has always been, where do we allocate this stuff? And I think a lot of people are pissed off that we've been spending a lot of money on bullshit instead of the things that actually benefit people's lives.
Yes, Tasty?
I have an important announcement to make. I just got my pizza.
Oh, jeez. Fucking
I'm
child.
done.
But back on topic.
No offense, Tasty, but I don't give a shit about your pizza.
It's Japanese.
I'd rather have
Domino's.
pizza than shitty politics.
Yeah, well, there is that. But I also,
I mean, if I had my own pizza, I care more about that than this. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But we're talking about his pizza, and I don't give a fuck because it's not my pizza.
Well,
Yeah,
that can be arranged.
true.
But so I have one thing that I know a lot of people, not on this panel, but a lot of people, if I were to say this in particular places, would absolutely hate me, and I kind of love them for it, because I think there's one thing that the federal government could do. They could do it tomorrow, and it would start to make drastic improvements internally in the country.
Yeah, probably.
Cut all foreign aid.
Hell yeah.
How about we take care of ourselves first, and once we have our own shit in order, then we can start helping other people.
Because it'll never
about-
happen.
Yeah.
Would you consider us attacking Yemen foreign aid?
No, that's a defensive response.
Okay.
Yeah, don't fuck with our shit. You want to know what's on those tankers? Our shit.
Mm-hmm.
Those are our shit. The United States has a policy. It was actually written back in 1776 that says, "Do not fuck with our shit." And we've been very, very good about enforcing it ever since.
Except that one time in 1812.
Yeah, but
well, we kind of broke even on that.
we
one,
broke even on that, and but since then there was never a question. Don't fuck with our shit, and so that is a defensive role.
Does
if
anyone
other
remember the Barbary pirates?
I mean, if other country or if other groups benefit from us defending our own shit, then so be it. That's just a side effect. But at the end of the day, don't fuck with our shit. That's what it comes down to. Like, hey, you see this nice, lovely F-22 Raptor? This is a symbol, and the symbol says, "Don't fuck with our shit."
Dude, the F-22 is savage as fuck.
Yeah, it is savage as fuck because we want to make sure our message is clear. Don't fuck with our shit.
Also, if you say you see the F-22, I'm pretty sure you're lying because you don't see it coming.
Yeah, you already did, bitch.
They never see me coming. Wait, what?
Dude,
Only if you keep your camera off.
habitual line crosser has been fucking amazing.
Yes.
And
You should
here's
try to get him on the show.
here's the policies that I support. Like, I support some Republican policies, I support some Democrat policies, and I'll just name two of them. Like, I'm for 1A, 2A. That's never going to change. But I'm also for environmental protection. I don't want my oceans to be 80% antifreeze. And I don't think that's a bad thing. So we need to have some regulation, but I also want to be able to, say what I got to say and defend myself if I need to defend myself and not be treated like a fucking criminal in the process.
I saw somebody had a rug online that said, this is my house. It is my God-given right to turn my home into a tomb for thieves and federal agents. Damn straight, am I right?
Another policy that I support is supporting our veterans. Now, I'm not a veteran, but I know people that are, and I know that, sometimes they do get boned by the system, mainly because the system is not operated in the way that it should. So I support more resources going to whichever agency is needed to make sure that our veterans are getting taken care of. If they serve our country, they should be taken care of when they get out of service. They shouldn't have any fucking worry. Whenever I see a homeless veteran, that is the sign that we're not doing enough.
Yeah, that's exactly where it is take care of our own first and foremost. Once we are taking care of our own and we have shit left over, then we can help others. I mean, I think that was one of the biggest things, is the fact that how many people have been paying attention to the social media posts about people talking about their tax returns in the last few weeks?
Remember,
I
talked to you about this not too long ago, Jared, but I had to print 5 separate documents. 5! Fucking 5! And then I had to reset my Google password to get the 1099 that Google was hiding from me.
Yeah.
You actually had to you actually had to get on the phone with me and say, "Hey, click here, dumbass." I was like, "Oh yeah, look at that."
Go ahead.
Man, I don't know.
Taxes suck.
So,
And the thing is that
a lot of people have either that have already started to file for the current tax cycle, so the 2023 taxes. They're either getting half of the return they got the previous year, or they're owing money.
That was me in 2021. I owed $9,000 to the IRS.
Yeah. Wait, you owed how much?
$9,000 in 2021.
You owed what unholy shit were you involved in that made it so that you had to pay $9,000 to the IRS?
I don't want to say it out loud.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
Did you have to
I
declare
will
a lot
DM
of
it to
stolen
you.
property?
What? No, it is not money laundering. It is nothing illegal. It's just something I don't want to say out loud because it's
That's all right.
If you don't want to say it, you don't have to. I'm not going to pressure you.
No, I trust you guys. I'm just not going to say it out loud.
Not over air.
Not over air. No, that's fair. That's fair. But the idea is that I'm also for lowering taxes, absolutely. And the way that we lower taxes is by decreasing the overhead that also siphons tax dollars away from the shit that's actually supposed to be going. Like, we are very inefficient with our money, and that's a bad thing. I think we should totally fix that shit. And we should really start streamlining a whole bunch of I heard a case. Who's the I'm forgetting her name. Ocasio something.
Oh, New
Cortez.
York dipshit.
New York dipshit. But New York dipshit actually said something that was really, really eye-opening. She was grilling this contractor for selling non-vehicular clutch discs at like $1,000 a pop, when in reality these clutch discs only cost like $8 to make per disc. And so that was one hell of an increase. And so after she absolutely grilled the ever-living fuck out of this person, the company that charged the government that money ended up making one hell of a refund to them because this was price gouging. Now, how many of those bullshit deals go unchecked? How many companies are just absolutely fleecing the shit out of the American taxpayer? So if you're able to put the squash on that and also streamline your processes, I imagine that we could save a fuck ton of money, which means that we could lower taxes all the way around.
So for those who are blissfully unaware, let me absolve you of that. If an item has what is called a NIN, N-I-I-N,
God, no.
You can automatically double or triple the price that is attached to it. All because it has that military specification attached to it. The price automatically increases regardless of any changes have been made to the actual product itself.
Bro, I'm the no longer qualified RPPO. Don't talk to me about NINs. Bro, they fucked themselves up. I don't do shit. Like, what are they gonna say? Oh, I'm not qualified in that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. If someone actually took the time, no, wait, there is already a group that is supposed to be doing this. If the CBO, if the Congressional Budget Office actually got off their ass and did their job full time, how much overspending do you think there would actually be?
Yeah. Also, here's a policy change that I think everyone here will support. We need to start airing with no censor whatsoever, and politicians should be encouraged to cuss like sailors, because I would very much like it if politicians would stop being so professional about shit and start speaking their minds. Like, are you telling me that you've been fucking our asses with these clutch discs for how long now? I've been paying this much fucking money for your bullshit and you've been doing this shit? And the news agency should not be allowed to bleep that.
So you want it to be a mix of the UK, Canadian, and Australian parliaments. I'm on board with that.
At least it would be entertaining, but also it means that their debates would be a lot more spirited, and you know exactly where people stand. Because right now they have this requirement that they be a little bit more restrained in their speech, and I think that's a bad thing. I think you will really know how fucked a situation is if you give them the ability to truly express how fucked a situation is. And if that means grilling the absolute fuck out of people, then it would be amazing. Like, for example, does anyone remember this guy named Drumpf? Drumpf was the CEO of Wells Fargo.
Hey, speaking of grilling, I grill the fuck out of my chief all the time.
Nice. Back to Wells Fargo. So if you notice, during his testimony in front of Congress, he was wearing an arm brace. So if you're watching a video with him and he has the arm brace on, that's the video I'm talking about. He injured his arm by shoving stolen money up his own ass.
Why?
Yeah. Oh,
So it
Wells
was,
Fargo was.
Yeah, they kind of he kind of hurt himself doing that, and so he had to wear a bit of an arm brace, because shoving stolen money up your own ass is a lot of work, and you can hurt yourself doing that. So Elizabeth Warren absolutely went to town on this motherfucker. Now, even though that dude was absolutely owned by the end of the grilling. It would have been a lot worse had the members been allowed to cuss him the fuck out and just tear him a new asshole. And I think knowing that that's a possibility, it may spark people to be more outraged about the bullshit going on with the banks and in government and, you know, that kind of thing, and will motivate people to do more shit about it, especially if they're able to properly express how fucked the situation is. So yeah, cuss like a goddamn sailor. Don't bleep it whatsoever. Tell the FCC to get fucked. And, you know, just let them say what they got to say. You know, if you want to call, you know, Donald Trump a fucking rapist, you should be allowed to do that. If you want to call Joe Biden a senile old pedo-like fuck, you should be allowed to do that and not have any repercussions for it.
Oh yeah,
That
Jared, I
is
sent you
the
the
purpose. That is the purpose of the First Amendment. We can
Yeah.
be critical of the government, the people in office, and they can't do shit about it. Now, note, I said be critical. There are things that, whether you say it against them or a private citizen, that are not protected speech under the First Amendment, and those are namely threats of violence and imminent harm.
Yes, I'm not saying, you know, threaten people, but if you want to call someone a shit-eating ass belonker,
A vapid fuckstick.
a
Yeah.
queef crouton, a douche canoe, a turd muffin.
Oh yeah,
That last
Jared.
one may have been the most brutal.
a knee pad jockey that got her double degrees. I mean,
You know, it's like if I go and I'm speaking to someone that is purposefully sterilizing their speech, I automatically take them less seriously. I'm talking about the future of this country. I don't want to be like I'm talking to fucking HR. Like,
yeah, there
get
is
the
a
fucking
there is a
HR
time and
speak out of
place.
here.
There is a time and place for civility and decorum, but there are times enough is fucking enough.
Yeah, it's like if you I imagine that if politicians were allowed to express themselves properly, then there would be more conversation around the actual issues, especially if they're able to properly express how fucked the situation is. And so doing that, I could see a lot of good things coming from that. And as an added bonus, even though this isn't the main issue, as an added bonus, it'd be a lot more entertaining.
You might get more people involved and actually paying attention to what people do after they vote them into office.
Yeah, it's like you know, and let's talk about what's his fucking name? Who's the fucking dipshit in Marjorie, whoever the fuck, Taylor
Oh.
Greene.
Yeah.
Match, Tatch, Gatch.
Yes. So that fucking cunt. Yeah, she should be allowed to hold up a picture of Hunter's spicy boner and show it to the American people and talk about how it is engorged and massive, and you know, she just can't stop looking
She
at
wants
it. And she wants it. Yeah, she should be allowed to do that completely uncensored, because if she believes it is honestly
Leave her
important for
alone.
the American people to hear about how she's a fan of the spicy cock rocket, then she should be allowed to do that. She should be allowed to express herself properly to the American people, so the American people know explicitly how she feels about the situation.
Can we come up with a punishment for the general populace when they're being an absolute hypocritical fuckstick about behaviors that they do and don't accept?
So you want to put
Yeah.
half of America in jail already?
More like
I wasn't
70%.
talking jail. I was thinking something shorter term, but similarly effective. Maybe
I mean,
a
I have a
cattle
few
prod.
ideas. I have a few ideas, and it requires Twitter's cooperation.
Well, Jared, I got an idea. Screw the cattle prod. Let's see who can hold on to the electric fence the longest contest.
You know,
No,
okay,
no. They have to hold on to the electric fence for a time period matching the number of times that they've been shown to be logically inconsistent, aka hypocritical, by holding one standard for one political party member, but not holding that same standard for the other.
all right. So imagine this. Imagine this. Let's imagine that the CEOs of John Deere are sitting in front of me, and I'm on the board, or I'm the person grilling them, and I tell them about all the policies that I'm going to be enacting that makes it so that they have to not fuck over farmers. You know, similar to the conversation that we were just having. And they were like, but it will do this and it'll do that. And they're talking about how it will like lower their bottom line. They'll make less money and everything like that. You know, they're going to come up with some
and?
excuse. Yeah, exactly. Now, imagine if on national television, you know, and by the way, when I start making the voice, I'm rubbing my nipples. I say, oh, you're gonna be making less money by not fucking over farmers. Oh, that's terrible. Tell me more about how you're not going to be making this money by just fucking over farmers and putting unnecessarily roadblocks on your products.
You were watching the cable episode of
Yes,
South
the
Park
cable episode of
recently,
South
weren't
Park.
you?
Exactly. Exactly. Be like, oh, that's terrible, and it's just a video of me on Fox News rubbing my nipples at the idea that they're not going to be able to fuck over farmers.
Hey, Tech, you love the moment that you walked into?
Hey, Jared.
Uh-huh.
By the way, I sent you.
Yeah,
I sent you the
see
reason why. Yeah, send it
Which
to
does-
Red, and I want to.
It makes sense.
Yeah, if you didn't know, I made a lot of money during COVID.
Oh.
It's like it could be one of those, are you not entertained? I'm here on national TV rubbing my nipples at the idea that big ass CEOs won't be able to fuck over the little guy.
Yeah.
This is the kind of shit I live for, man. It is. And you know, and oh yeah, and by the way, get rid of on major highways, get rid of the speed limits. Let's just autobahn the shit. Absolutely.
Yes. Fuck yes.
Just
should be able-
autobahn the fuck out of it.
I believe I have a
Have
God-given
you
right.
seen the average highway?
Yeah, we got
I
to get
believe-
better with the infrastructure upkeep before we do that.
Also, to be real, the actual percentage of kilometers of autobahn that you actually have no speed limit is not that high. It is
Yes.
a general rule, but the majority of all pieces of autobahn have a speed limit and also need one.
Yeah, but we would just do a better job. We would make it so that there is no speed limit. So basically, you would have maybe one lane has a speed limit on it, like the far lane. But if you go to the other lane, like preferably all the way to the left, that's the hammer lane, and you better put your fucking foot down and make a
Mhm.
rule that if someone's going faster than you, you need to get the fuck out of their way.
And that
Well,
is one
that
thing.
should be the standard anyway, that you only go
Actually,
to the
that's-
left lane if you're actually
That's the law in my.
overtaking.
That's the law
Yeah.
in my state, actually.
Yeah, we just
That's
need
the
to
law.
actually
No matter
enforce
how
it.
fast they're going, you're gonna get a ticket whether if you don't move out of their way, because you're inhibiting the flow of traffic. Because it's more dangerous to go the speed limit than to keep with the flow of traffic if you can.
Especially if you're on 275 in Florida going over the Skyway
Mm.
Bridge, If you're not traveling at least 85, 90 miles an hour, you're being an asshole.
What if my car can't get that fast? I need to diesel swap it to get that fast.
You need to get the fuck out of the way. Is what the answer is. Get
How
in the
hard-
slow lane with all the other rejects that bought a Prius.
No, I have the Japanese equivalent of a Suzuki Samurai with a 600cc engine.
See, you
Well.
just need a proper car that goes 3 gallons a mile.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna Cummins swap it with a like 2.8 liter and enough torque to like flip the thing, build up my rear end and transmission, and then call it quits and be like, yeah.
Now,
It's
are you
like-
going to put
it's
the
like
wheelie bar on it, or are you going to try to use counterweights to keep the bitch from flipping over?
Well, like what was
Light
happening on
bars.
the highway last time? What was
I'm
happening
gonna
on the
use
highway
light
last time?
bars, Jared.
Mm.
Well, let me tell you about this. So I was in the center lane. The highway's 3 lanes wide, and in the fast lane was the brand new BMW Supra, and it was just absolutely hauling so much ass, just and then just it was a dot on the horizon in no time whatsoever. I'm perfectly okay with that. I don't get upset by that. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. You bought a brand new BMW Supra. Do what you got to do. And I think that should be allowed.
I used to work for BMW. I'd rather not talk about BMW.
Yeah, but
Right.
the new BMW Supra is actually pretty nice. I mean, if
Yeah, it
you
comes-
if you gave me run, I would totally take it, but only in a 6-speed.
Yep.
Damn.
If you're my Jimny, which is what kind of car I have like a 93. I'm gonna import it back to the States. Mine's a 5-speed, and everybody's like, why did you get a 5-speed? And it's because, and how I respond usually is because I have a pair of balls.
My dream car would be a 2018 Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 1LE with a 6-speed. That's
Hey, Red,
my dream car right there.
did you get Jared's DM about why I was so broke in 2021 taxes?
No.
Check Twitter.
Oh, it's on Twitter. Of course, it's on Twitter. Why wouldn't it be on Twitter?
You mean X?
Because that's the last place I DM'd you.
Mhm.
Womp womp.
Oh, and actually, now that I actually have both Tech and Jay Brown here, yeah, you guys are fucking insane. Well, wait. No. Do you guys think it's insanity or stupidity that I should respect you more for?
What did they do?
What you almost did.
Mhm.
What I almost did? Get out? Fuck yeah.
No, not Get Out. What group did you want to be a part of?
Oh, I'm going to try to do that. I want to be a fucking I want to be a nuke, dude. It can't be worse than the shit I'm dealing with now with this dog ass chain of command that all they want to do is work us to like 22 for no fucking reason, and we just sit with our thumbs up our ass. I'd rather be staying late and doing a fucking job than staying late with my thumb up my ass. They pulled like at least 10 people's entire page 4s, so they're not qualified in anything at all, and they still make them stand watch.
That could be quite the EO complaint.
Mhm.
But
Womp
no,
womp.
the reason why I'm bringing this up is because my primary customer for the company that I work for now, let's just say that they're really good at doing everything backwards. And for you guys to willingly go onto their products, I'm not sure if I would, knowing what I do now.
Now hold on, wait a minute. My boat was built at Newport News.
Was it Huntington?
We had
Ingle?
we had some tales about the Groton boats.
Yeah, I think EB had primary quality control at that time down there too, which
Most of the LA class, the ones that were coming out of EB, for example, almost all of them came out of the shipyard with issues with their torpedo control panels.
that does not surprise me.
I cannot talk on any of this subject. I am devoid of. I cannot talk about anything like this right now.
The Newport News boats did not have that problem.
If you know what I mean, Jared.
Mhm.
Oh,
And
I-
also, to be fair, I was on a last flight boat near the end of the cycle of Los Angeles Clash.
Yeah,
build,
so
so
they had the
They
majority
had
of it.
most of the stuff.
there. I sent you a DM.
Being tagged by people on Twitter again. Apparently, someone's wrong on the internet. So I'm gonna hop, and if y'all are still going later, I'll probably come back in. But if not, then I'll talk to you all
Wait,
later.
are you hopping over to that space?
Correct.
I might pop in that and live stream it here.
Why not? All right. In that case, see y'all later.
Later.
Is there ever someone not wrong on the internet?
Am I reasonably to be upset about this bullshit that's going on in my chain of command? Because it wasn't even like somebody who can approve a qualification that pulled him. It was the divos.
I mean, if the Divo was the one to pull it, and the Divo also has one of
They
the
make up fake
authorities over the watch bill, Divo's kind of fucking himself on this one.
Technically, it's their job to fuck you over.
Yeah, kinda. But and they make up fake prerequisites for quals. They're making up fake prereqs for quals right now, and it's really fucking all of us over. It's really fucking all of us over.
I would say document it, and if it gets to the point, bringing it to the IG would not be a problem, in my opinion. Because if they're making shit worse for no actual legitimate reason, it'd be one thing if all the quals had to be redone because there was an issue with the process originally and they're fixing it. That's one thing. But at the same time, you don't have those now unqualled people doing the jobs that those quals required. That's where there's an issue any which way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Jay.
Yeah.
I think you would like to see the Columbia when she's finished.
Oh yeah.
I gotta look at her stern piece that got sent up this way, and she's gonna be a big old girl.
Oh, are they finally building the Columbia?
They have been for a couple years now.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
They are already doing pieces for the second and third boat of the class.
That reminds me. 20 years ago yesterday, we took the Michigan from the Banger around to the PSNS. I can't believe it's been 20 years. I still remember it like it was yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, what do you guys think about my thoughts? If I get out of the Navy, I want to be a fucking hotspot, man. Fighting forest fires.
If you're on Twitter, track down Geistview. He actually did that job and would be able to give you, up until recently, he was doing that job. He's a good resource. He was down in California for a while.
Do you know him?
Yeah. Actually, he might still be connected to the server.
Yeah, I want to be a hot spot or a smoke jumper because fuck this.
Yeah.
Let's go here. Let's find... There he is.
Where is he?
I found him on Twitter. I'm going to send that over to you.
Is it a good gig? I hear it pays good. Dangerous as fuck, but it pays good.
It depends on what you see as good. I don't know what they... what they do, but that's his primary account. Haven't seen him around for a bit, so he is living up in Alaska now, so connection might be difficult and sporadic.
Yeah, I forgot how long that piloting party watch was. Not really. It was like 12 hours of bullshit because we were pulled by tugs the whole way. Because they took our screw off because with our screw on we wouldn't fit in the dry dock.
Nice. So, actually, I was talking with my escort the other night, and I had mentioned that the reason why you picked the coast that you did is because of how short it is from the coast to the actual drop off of the continental shelf.
Oh yeah. That's planning. That's proper planning right there. What did he say?
Well, she was like, "Oh, that makes sense," because her one of the things she was talking about was the possibility of an earthquake here on the East Coast. And it's like, we don't really have the fault lines to worry about here because with where we are in relation to the edge of the continental shelf and also what's happening where for the tectonic plates, if we have a sizable earthquake hitting New England, there's bigger shit going on somewhere that caused it. We got other things to worry about.
Although I remember briefly entertaining going to Mark 118 school, but luckily I didn't.
Briefly, as in, I do that, I stay in for this much longer, or I get out now.
No, I mean like fairly early on in my A school time, before C school. Thankfully, I was thankfully being an FT, I decided I actually liked being an FT, so and wanted to get on an actual boat that might do something. So.
Oh, it was one of those schools that really limited you.
Well, Mark 18 was the fire control system used on the Ohios at the time. So.
Yeah, he was taking a dig at me.
Yeah, well, get port calls and fun other countries, or go be a hole in the water.
And go to Pearl Harbor and San Diego.
Yeah,
maybe Scotland.
An FT on a boomer spent most of their time searching down sound shorts. That's about all.
Well, at the time that I was in, no, they didn't go to Scotland.
Oh yeah, they did. Yeah, they closed Holy Lock.
Yeah, Holy Lock.
Although
they still use it for their own.
They closed Holy Lock. Period.
Yeah.
And where are they putting them now? Because they were talking about that on a politics thing.
Further south on Inverness.
Oh, okay.
But there is talk of Holy Lock opening back up because of all the bullshit going on, and also because, well, common missile compartment and needing a place for to fit it. Yeah, the new UK boomers are gonna be closer in size to the Ohio now.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But the thing that I find really interesting with the Columbia, and now this is public information at this point, they've reduced the missile tubes down to 16,
Yep.
and yet the displacement, beam, and length are still bigger than the Ohio.
Yeah.
We're making it bigger, but we're carrying less missiles. So it's going to be treaty friendly.
Wait. Their boomer base is in near Inverness.
Well,
That's further north than
well,
Holylock.
well, in their Barrow Inverness is one of the spots. Plus, that's also a manufacturing facility.
Yeah.
I think it's more to do with the ease of getting out into open ocean versus where Holylock is.
Yeah.
God, I
Probably.
would not want to do that piloting party either. Jesus
Bro.
Christ.
Yeah.
Well, I share my screen, but Meats won't let me.
You should be able to share the screen.
Nope,
You know.
you're not allowed to share your screen. There we go.
Weird, because I only turned off video, not screen share.
Womp womp.
Something is happening.
So here's Holylock.
Yeah.
Gotta go
So,
all the way
Jared,
through
was this guy a smoke jumper or a hotspot?
I don't know. I don't remember what, but he was forest firefighter.
And you have two ways to go from there. Whereas up here at Inverness, and I would assume the base is somewhere either up this way, or over to here. But right out into the North Sea, right there. Or what was affectionately known as Doggerland at one point.
Mhm.
But that would probably be the way with the piloting parties they would want to go to get out into deeper water.
Oh no, the Barrow Inverness is actually not the one up in Scotland. It's actually down by Blackpool.
Oh, down by Blackpool?
Yeah, see that nub just north of actually scroll down. Right there, Barrow Inverness.
Oh. So that's just... Why don't they just take over the Isle of Man and just call it good?
Ah. But if they take over the Isle of Man, where will we get our routine motorcycle racing deaths?
If they want to take over the Isle of Man, they have to fight Big Clive.
What? Did they finally take it down?
Take what down?
Nuke map.
Oh.
I'm getting a 404 on it now.
Maybe.
Probably having way too much fun with it and they didn't like it.
No, it came up for me.
No? Yeah, works for me.
They may have changed the web address on you.
They probably did. Copy.
Kind of funny how they start out with it defaulting over Washington, D.C.
Nah, mine defaults on Seattle.
think it defaults to where it thinks you are.
Hmm. I think we could go right there. We could do. That one. And we want to see that and that. Not big enough, I think.
Nah,
All right, we'll go theoretical.
Instead of the tested.
Yeah, might as well go with the.
I mean,
Where else could we do this at? Yeah, we owe them some value bastard.
it not playing well with you.
No, I haven't played with it enough lately. It doesn't like me. Wait, where is Tasty?
Sasebo.
Sasebo? Okay. Hopefully I spelled that right.
probably not.
Sasebo.
I was close.
Not bad for being an
An
that
outlier.
far out. Yeah. Fukuoka is a larger city down that way.
Yeah.
Insult to injury, you could hit Nagasaki again.
I mean, we might as well just do two at the same time. I mean, redo Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Yeah. Oh, that's a decent number for
Yeah,
down that. Is that still doing airburst? Yeah.
yeah. Did anybody want Country Fried CCP?
I mean, with the way they've been going, it's probably going to end up that way.
Do people like extra crispy frog legs?
I mean, I kind of don't want to talk too much shit about the French because of working with a few of them. But at the same time,
Yeah. You could hit Paris. There aren't many French there anymore.
Yeah, you could say the same about London and the Brits.
Yeah, true. Could say the same about Berlin.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, from the German perspective, what is your take on a lot of that refugee immigration stuff that's going on?
There is a lot of bullshit going on. Let's say it that way. I'm not really comfortable with going into detail, but I think everyone can kind of see that there is a mismatch between people who are refugees fleeing war and famine and actual catastrophe, and a lot of people who are around. Let's say it that way.
Well, with that, something that Alex Geostribber and I were talking about a little bit. What the hell is with the ADP party that essentially wants to be a revamp of the Third Reich?
The AFD, you mean?
Yeah, the AFD.
They are they are really stupid idiots. Yeah. And they really think that A, it would be possible, and B, actually
viable,
politically and technically viable to revoke citizenship of people. I'm totally checking refugee status and having more stringent requirements is one thing. To basically go, yes, you are a second or third generation immigrant and your parents or grandparents came here from somewhere, but we don't like you, so we are taking away your citizenship. That's not gonna fly.
Yeah, that's the one that got one of the things that really jumped out to me is essentially, even if you were born in Germany, if your family lineage was not German for enough generations, they're like, yep, nope, not good enough, see ya.
Yeah. And I think most of the time it's already pretty bullshit to have people who have been born here and have gone to school here and have learned the language, and then they are still sent back with their parents because their parents never got citizenship, so the children also never got citizenship. And I think you can't take someone who is 13, 14, 16 years old and basically go, yeah, you lived 16 years in Germany, but no, you go back to Syria or Turkey or whatever. I think that is kind of bullshit in the first place. But to basically go to people who are German citizens and go, no, we want to get rid of you, that doesn't track. And their weird bullshit kind of plan of there are a high number of people who might even have dual citizenship, where in theory it might technically be possible to revoke their German citizenship and send them back to Turkey or wherever. But from what I heard, they have this pie in the sky plan of creating a third-party state somewhere where they could just put everyone without us. Yeah, and that how. But yeah. If these people actually had a plan of how life works, I don't think they would work for the AfD. Yeah.
Well, what stood out to me in the article that he had passed along that I was reading, it wasn't just the AfD that was there with this. Like, you actually had some actual big money business people that were supposedly tied into it.
The thing is, and that brings us back to the problem with Democrats and Republicans, is that the AfD advertises to lower class workers very, very hard, but they actually mostly make politics for ultra rich people.
So just like the Republican Party.
Yeah. And yeah, for some reason, people don't really notice that, or are too stupid to notice that they, on the propaganda posters, they are advertising to the low class worker who needs a tax break, but in their actual party program, if you read it, they are the one party even worse than the liberal free capitalism party and the Christian Democrats, who are also very conservative and pro business. Even more than those, they want to lower taxes only for rich people and give less money to poor people, and they pretty openly tell that, but no one cares.
Yeah, and yet people are like, "Oh, the
Yeah.
average person is smart enough." You know
Yeah,
what?
no, they aren't.
That's the thing that gets me is all this information is there, but people don't know what to do with it,
Yeah.
or they actively decide to do the opposite of what they should do with the information.
And I think a lot of people are also stupid enough, and both in Germany and in the US, to think, if only we hadn't all those pesky immigrants, then I would be one of those rich people, when no, you wouldn't.
Yeah, it's surprising yet frightening how many people have bought into that style of rhetoric. And actually, this is I was probably going to end up going there with You Wished earlier had he not left, is that
Yeah.
he is the target of that level of propaganda.
Sadly, yes, yeah. But for some weird reason, it works time and time again, yeah.
Well, it's like, and actually, as I was reading that article, you know what came to mind?
Hmm?
A German movie that Gayo and I watched a couple of months ago. I want to
Yeah.
say it was from 2015.
Mhm.
Look Who's Back.
Yes, yeah.
And it's like some people wonder how he got voted into office in the first place in the 30s. But then you have people that, from what he was telling me, some of the people's reactions was not scripted, and they were like, "Well, yeah, I could see myself voting
Yeah.
for him." And it's
It
like,
is,
what the fuck?
they made a pretty comprehensive documentary about how they made the movie, because the book came first, so the general story existed, but yeah, everything that is with the movie company and the office, that are actors who are scripted, but a lot of the scenes where he's just
In
out
public.
in town and talking to citizens and giving autographs, many of those people are not actors, and they are reacting genuinely. And that is, of course, they took the scenes that fit the movie best. There were also a lot of reactions who were not like that, but it's still scary.
Yeah, well, and that's where it's like what we were talking about before, with Red's even pointing out that right now the Republican Party is fucked because of how strong the supporter base is for Trump, that no one else can really challenge him. Looks awfully familiar, and yet what I find interesting with that is, while Trump does have the personality to go that way,
Yeah.
when he was in office, he didn't. And yet when Biden got into office, Biden was the one who started flexing shit, and then it was like, oh wait, nope, let me pull back.
Yeah.
And that's where
What
I really get on the
find
hypocrisy part.
what I find kind of scary and problematic is that someone asked the question, isn't it theoretically illegal for Trump to take from his donations and use them for settlement of his court cases? And someone said, yeah, it would be illegal if those were campaign funds. But for the last 8 years, all of his donation drives have never mentioned elections or campaigns or the presidency in with one word. They are so vague and so nebulous that people are basically donating for nothing. So he can use the money for whatever he wants. He can buy Russian prostitutes pissing on him, and the state can do nothing against it because technically none of the money is campaign funds. And people are still sending him money.
Right. And a lot of it is because while some things in the press were exaggerated against him, he capitalized on that and painted it and used the propaganda tactic to go,
I don't think Trump is a good businessman in the similar vein that Elon Musk is not a good businessman. But he knows how to spin situations in his favor, and he's pretty good at that.
Yep. He knows how to play the people. And that's what he's been doing.
He used to know how to get good lawyers too, but he's ran through all of them, and now he's like scraping the bottom of the barrel.
It is when you tend to fuck your associates over, sometime you run out of people who are willing to help you. Yeah.
Yeah, he's at the point in time where that's kind of where why he keeps losing everything nowadays. Is he's
yeah. He should have learned from the mob. Fuck everyone, but not your lawyer.
Yeah, he's fucked over every good lawyer, and no good lawyers will do any business.
And not fucking your lawyer includes not their wives.
It'll. I'm not sure if you caught it, Thierry, but it'd be interesting to hear what these other two have to say. Is what about that speech from Ilhan Omar this past week about Somalia? Did you catch that one?
I haven't actually heard that. No.
Oh. She did a speaking engagement, and it was recorded and broadcast, where she was talking and outright saying she put Somalia first, and that's what she's
yeah, I read about that. Yeah, that is not a good soundbite.
And she tried to play it off. Oh, it's just a bad translation. The event organizer came out and said, no, that's what she actually said.
Yeah. That's another thing that I don't understand, especially in modern times. But why do people try to lie about that shit when it's so easily provable what they actually said? It's not like back in the 60s anymore, where some journalists wrote it down or something. There is probably multiple camera angles.
Yeah, and when it comes to the question of treason and fidelity of your oath, if she's not at least censured because of this,
that is not even borderline anymore. That is, yeah.
And yet people try to pass it off and try to put claims of statements that strong against other political aspirants, and it's like you're back in the I'm not saying that the other side is clean. I'm not saying the other side is good, but holy fuck, how can you ignore this?
That is really hard to ignore, yeah. And I think it shouldn't be ignored, but yeah, probably they will try to push that under the rug.
Yeah, don't get me started on that Elon Omar thing.
But it's one of the things that came up that was like, oh, there are going to be people that have opinions on this, and I'm curious to hear it because it's been long enough since the last show that a lot of shit has happened. Like the one that actually caught my attention in the server, we didn't even fucking get to yet.
Oh, which one was that?
Oh, I'm going back in to pull it up now because there was one that I read that I caught that got me to put out the question. Do we do a? Oh, was it that one? Let me see. Where is that? Yes, the one out of Canada, from almost a month ago. Military police threatened to charge sex worker who offers discounts to Canadian soldiers.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not opposed to military discounts. So.
Oh, I went in and I read the article, and what I find interesting is what the military police are going after her for is not the sex work, because that's not illegal in Canada. What they're going after her for that is illegal is the use of controlled items, namely the military uniform items. Because apparently some of the videography that she does for some of these events include the service member in their uniform. So that's what they're going after her for. And the icing on the cake, because they've done it and because it's been made public, the amount of contacts she's been getting requesting her services has significantly increased.
I can't imagine why.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's not icing on that cake.
And I'll say this, the picture that they chose for the article is a flattering image of her.
Yeah.
I personally wouldn't partake because not my thing. But she doesn't look bad.
Something, it is true sometimes. There's no such thing as bad publicity.
Yeah.
And actually, for the audience's bit, if you're not in the server,
There's probably a whole bunch of Canadian military people up there going, "Oh, you mean I could get discounts?"
In this economy, they'll take any discount.
Damn.
That should work for the link. Let me test it. Yes, it does. All right. There you go. It's in the chat.
Yeah.
It's in the
Yeah,
live
but
chat.
I think her arguments are valid in the way that if you're acting in a movie or a TV series, then you are not impersonating a military officer, even if you're wearing an original uniform. So she's not walking around the city like dressed in uniform. She's doing entertainment. That should fall under the existing exemptions. Yeah.
Yeah. They may not agree with the entertainment. They may not like the entertainment, but she does have a sound foundation from my limited knowledge of the situation, that yeah, that should be a viable defense.
Let's be fair. The worst tactic a command ever could do is tell their soldiers to stay away from something.
Don't go
Yeah,
here.
yeah. That is kind of like telling Marines in boot camp not to go out with a stripper and buy a Camaro on. Yeah, just don't do it.
Yeah, well,
If you don't want them to buy a Camaro, the first thing you don't want to be doing is give them a list of dealerships that sell them.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, it is like anytime you pull into a port and there's a blacklist area, where's the first place that a lot of people end up
People
going?
will go, yeah. Of course. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah,
It's like what was it, Johnny Bravo? Oh, my mama warned me about women like you. I hoped she was right.
Yes, that's the first thing they would look up is what the blacklist areas are. It's
yeah.
like free advertising.
Well, I was talking with my escort when I found that, and she couldn't understand it. I was like, okay, let me put it to you this way. You're in a situation, you're either climbing something, going across a footbridge or something, and someone tells you, don't look down. What's
Yeah.
the first thing you immediately do?
It
Fucking
is
look
like
down.
it is like someone shouting at you, don't think about blue-eyed polar bears. What do you do?
Yeah, as soon as you tell a human being, don't do this thing, it immediately comes into the mind, I'm going to do that thing, or why shouldn't I do that thing?
But I really wanna.
Or why is this on the blacklist?
I seriously think the main reason why a lot of commands make a blacklist like that is because the senior enlisted and officers don't want to deal with us.
Yeah.
So they think that we're not going to go to a place, or they specifically put that out hoping to funnel all the junior enlisted over there so they know where to avoid.
Well, yeah. If I was, I don't know, in charge of Hamburg, for example, I definitely would tell everyone, please don't go to the Reeperbahn. That is the very traditional open red light district with a lot of bars and a lot of open prostitution, because then people would go there where it's actually pretty much open and regulated, and there's a lot of police, and it
Properly
actually
handled.
works, and they don't end up in some weird illegal basement bar with a couple of people who no one knows where they are. Yeah.
Oh, fucking love that movie.
What was he showing? I wasn't paying attention.
It was
Oh.
from Hitchhikers.
Yeah,
Ah.
the
No one have a thought.
thinking cap. Yeah. Yeah.
Don't think about anything. Smack.
Mhm. Just empty your mind. Oh, so you have chosen your foe. Who did think about something? And I thought the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man would never hurt me. Uh-huh. That's how well not thinking about anything works. Hasn't worked for 50 years now. Much longer.
Actually, there was a YouTube short I came across earlier today, or it might have been last night, one of the two, where the
Mhm.
question came up. You can go into any sci-fi universe and steal an item, but here's
Oof.
the catch. You steal the item, the owner, the person you stole it from, is potentially going to come after you. What do you steal? I forget whose channel it was.
Is a good question, yeah.
The answer
Because
that he
the
came-
potentially more powerful item you steal, the more problems you're putting on yourself, yeah.
Right. So the item that he chose was to go steal someone's babblefish from hitchhikers.
Hmm.
Why?
Yeah, some random guy, yeah, okay, he can come after me. He's Bob.
Well, not just that, because when you think about it, those are so commonplace in that universe. Are they really going to come after you, or are they just going to get a replacement?
Yeah, that's another thing. That's like stealing someone's phone. Yeah, if you're standing right in front of them, they might come up to you and say, "Hey, give my phone back." If their phone is just gone, they'll probably shrug, tell the police someone stole my phone, and nothing will ever come of it. Yeah.
Yeah, so breaking it down, I was like, you know what, that's actually a really good idea. And that is actually a pretty nifty thing to take, because then
Yeah.
end up being effectively fluent in all languages.
Though I think with the babblefish, the problem is you can understand every language, but you can't speak it.
Right. And that's where you would probably have to go in and get a sizable number of them, and then just bring them in and let them propagate. See if they survive on Earth.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, it would make a lot of YouTubers instantly broke, because it would disprove God in one snap of the finger, as we learned from the Hitchhiker's Guide. Because something so awesome can only be made by a god, and once you prove that God exists, he will vanish.
It's truth denies faith, and without faith, he's nothing.
Yes.
I may have read the book a few times.
Yeah.
Just a few.
Just a few, yeah. And we really could need more Douglas Adams and Terry Pratchett books. On the other hand, every book probably cost that man like 10 years of his life. So if he had wrote more, he probably would have died even sooner, if that makes any sense.
Oh shit, it's almost midnight. What fucking fun.
Oh, now that you say it, it's almost 6 a.m., yeah.
Which actually, let me actually pull that up, because I want to take a look. See. Cruises. So, I know. As the no, fuck off. So, right now, my wife is currently on a Northern European cruise on MSC.
Oh, they're pretty good.
I'm trying to remember the ports that she's.
Northern Sweden, or?
Well, they just departed on the 2nd. So just the other day. And I think Belgium, maybe Denmark, Germany was on there, and France.
Oh, okay. Sounds good.
Actually, so from let's set this for the port that they left from. Search. There it is. let's view the itinerary. So, yeah, so C-Day. So, yep, they're going Hamburg, Rotterdam, Bruges, Belgium, then outside of Paris, and then back to Southampton.
Sounds good.
So, yeah, so she'll be in Hamburg tomorrow with the kid.
Hamburg is a really beautiful city.
Actually, they might be there in a few hours. Depends on what time they. Oh, yep, they're due to arrive at 7 a.m. So yeah, they're due to
It's
arrive
in an hour, yeah. 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 Time zones suck.
But didn't you know? I mean, time zones on the flat Earth are really easy and make sense and don't cause any problems whatsoever.
Yeah, because they can't reasonably exist. Because the sun is not a spotlight. But yeah, no. I still haven't understood how any flat earther can even argue that north is up, but south is 90 degrees that way.
So, given an hour to the port, they should be just almost at the mouth of the Elbe River right now.
Yeah, that would make sense.
It's impossible to get any idea of anything from a flat earther perspective because you have too much brain power for that. You would have to.
Yeah. The worst part about flat Earth is that it's so obvious that it doesn't work and doesn't make any sense, is that they actually have to believe all this other bullshit, like the moon isn't real, gravity is a hoax, and yeah, that should be a sign that the underlying idea of the Earth being flat is kind of untenable, but nah.
It's perfectly fine if you're not thinking about it.
Yeah. Also, I'm always surprised about how low the actual overlap between young Earth creationists and flat earthers is, and they laugh at each other. When to be a young Earth creationist, you basically have to take the Bible over scientific fact, but then the Bible also says the Earth is flat. So why believe one thing but not the other?
Because they're not prepared to become quite that stupid.
Yeah.
Well, and even then, it takes a certain type of understanding of the Bible to go with it means flat Earth.
Yeah, you can logically argue against it, but it is still, once you start arguing that you should take everything as literal as possible, then it is pretty clear that every time it says round, it means circle and not ball. So.
But it does help that the actual language it was written in doesn't really understand the difference. So.
Yeah. And then, of course, you have people who actually put out the argument like, I'm only using the King James Bible, the original version. If it was good enough for Jesus, it's good enough for me.
Yes, because Jesus spoke in Elizabethan English.
Yes, Jesus himself wrote the King James Bible. Didn't you know?
Oh, I know the KJV only types.
That's why it's called King James Bible because that's Jesus' nickname, Old King GB. Yeah. Not to be confused with J.C. Denton, our Lord and Savior.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to go have a little bit of fun in that space to see if anything's actually going on in there over on Twatter.
Yeah.
If not, then I'm calling it a night because I have a lot of classwork to do tomorrow. Yay.
Yeah, I got to start class at the end of the month.
I started
Don't-
2 weeks ago.
Don't catch any twit itches and have a nice weekend. It was nice talking to you again.
Yeah, enjoy. I mean, part of why I actually had the time and energy to do this is the fact that, so right now the wife and the kid are on what's effectively a month and a half long trip. They did a 10-day transatlantic cruise from Miami to Southampton, and then it's 24 days around there, including the Northern European cruise they're doing right now.
Yeah.
And then an 11-day crossing back. And then a couple
Nice.
days in Miami because it's cheaper to... It was actually cheaper for them to stay in Miami for a few days and then fly back instead of flying back the day they get back into the U.S.
Yeah.
Ain't
Sounds
that
like an
some
awesome
shit?
time, yeah. Yeah, but it's basically the same like with connection flights, where it's for some reason cheaper to fly the longer leg rather than get off in the middle of the journey. But yeah,
Don't know why
airlines
they made
actually
it that...
trying to enforce that. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no answer to it. We just have to deal with it. And with that, y'all have a good one. I'm not sure when we'll be back, but we'll be back eventually.